In my previous life, during the college entrance exam physical checkup, my best friend secretly swapped my medical form with hers, causing me to be falsely marked as having a physical abnormality and losing my chance at military academy admission. She, however, used my clean results to successfully enroll. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day of the physical exam queue. I immediately photographed the form number and reminded the doctor in return, this time, she would reap what she sowed. The moment Lin Wanqing's hand reached for my document folder, I was reborn right back into the queue for the college entrance exam physical. The broadcast in the medical center lobby echoed around me. Candidates applying for military academies and public security colleges, please line up by school group and prepare your ID card, admission ticket, and medical form in advance. I stood in the crowd, clutching a transparent document folder containing a copy of my ID card, admission ticket, medical form, and the blue pen issued by the school. Ahead was the blood draw window, behind me, the hushed chatter of fellow female students, and beside me, Lin Wanqing was smiling at me. She wore a white short-sleeved shirt, her hair neatly tied back, her face bearing the gentle expression I knew all too well. "Jixia, don't be nervous," she said, "you've never had any issues in your physicals since childhood. Military academy is a sure thing. In my previous life, it was right after this sentence that I handed my document folder to her, because I went to the restroom, and she offered to hold it for me, because the line was too crowded, and she said it was safer for two people to watch the documents together, because she had been my best friend from elementary through high school. I never doubted her. Then my physical results changed. My name was still there, but the number wasn't mine. Some of my test results were marked as abnormal. By the time I realized something was wrong, it was too late. The school said the physical exam process was rigorous and couldn't have errors. The medical center said I had taken the form myself and signed it myself. Lin Wanqing cried, "Jixia, I want to help you too, but you can't just suspect me because you didn't pass, can you?" I was seen by everyone as someone who couldn't handle losing. While she took my clean results and smoothly passed the early admission for military academy, that summer, she returned to school in a brand new uniform for photos, sunlight falling on her face as she smiled beautifully and innocently. She hugged me in front of everyone and said, "Jixia, don't be sad, there will be other paths for you too." Only I heard her whisper softly in my ear, "See, your path, I can walk it just the same." My fingertips suddenly turned cold, not because the air conditioning was too low, but because the pain of having my life swapped out from under me in my previous life crawled out from the crevices of my bones. Once more, Lin Wanqing noticed I wasn't speaking and reached out to touch my document folder. "Let me check if your materials are complete, so nothing gets missed." Her movement was so natural that in my past life, I never would have suspected it. This time, I pulled my wrist back, and her fingertips grazed the edge of the transparent folder. "Missing." Lin Wanqing froze for a moment. I lowered my head, held the document folder to my chest, pulled out my phone, opened the camera, and aimed at the serial number in the corner of the medical examination form. "Wait a second," I said, "I'll take a photo." Lin Wanqing's eyes flickered. "What are you taking a photo for?" "For my records." My tone was calm. "The teacher said all college entrance exam materials need to be personally verified." She let out a laugh, as if to ease the tension. "You're being way too cautious, aren't you? These forms were issued uniformly by the school. What could possibly go wrong?" I looked up at her. She still had that gentle face, round eyes, and the corners of her mouth slightly lifted, appearing harmless, but I knew what lay behind that face. I pressed the shutter. Click. In the photo, my name, ID number, exam serial number, and application category were all perfectly clear. I then laid out the materials from the folder one by one on the bench beside me and photographed each piece: the ID copy, the admission ticket, the front of the medical form, the back of the form with the school's stamp. I even included the blue pen I had used. Lin Wanqing stood by, her smile already fading. "Jixia, what's up with you today? You're acting weird." "What's weird? You never cared about these things before." I neatly reassembled the document folder and tightened the seal. "I was immature before," I said. "Now I know. It's safest to keep your own things in your own hands." Her face stiffened for a moment, but soon she grabbed my arm again. "Are you that nervous? It's okay, I'll accompany you while you wait for the blood draw. If you're scared, just look at me." I glanced down at the hand she had wrapped around my arm. In my past life, she had done the same, holding me close, warm and familiar, as if she were genuinely afraid I'd be nervous. But her other hand, in the crowded crowd, had slipped her flawed medical form into my folder. I didn't shake her off. Letting go too soon would give her a chance to find another way. I needed to let her act, to make her believe I was still that Shinjisha who trusted her blindly. I offered a faint smile. Sure. She let out an obvious sigh of relief. The line moved forward a few steps. Teacher Zhou, who was leading the group, stood nearby holding a list and called out, "Female group from No. 1 high school, come closer, have your ID and medical form ready in advance. Don't start searching at the window." I looked at Teacher Zhou. She was the teacher responsible for college application materials at our school, in her 40s, meticulous in work but averse to trouble. After the incident last time, her first reaction wasn't to investigate but to tell me not to make a fuss. She said, "Shinjisha, your grades are good, even if the military academy doesn't work out, you still have regular undergraduate options. Making a big deal out of this now wouldn't be good for the school or you." I remembered those words for years. I didn't hate her as deeply as I hated Lin Wanqing. But in this life, I couldn't count on anyone to willingly seek justice. For me, I had to force them to be fair. Thinking of this, I walked up to Teacher Zhou proactively. "Teacher Zhou," he looked down at the list. "Shinjisha, what's the matter?" I handed over the medical examination form but didn't let go. "Teacher, I just want to confirm my number. Afraid I might mix it up with the crowd later." Teacher Zhou paused for a moment, then looked somewhat relieved. "You're quite meticulous. Let me take a look." I let go. Teacher Zhou glanced at it. "First high school. Girls group, number A1736, Shinjisha." "That's correct." I asked, "Teacher, if the form number doesn't match the system later, should we stop immediately to check?" Teacher Zhou frowned. "Of course, the medical forms can't be messed up. This is for the college entrance exam." "Got it." My voice wasn't loud, but the classmates standing nearby all heard it. Lin Wanqing heard it too. She pulled my hand, her fingertips tightening slightly. I turned to look at her. "What's wrong?" She smiled a bit reluctantly. "Nothing, just feel like you're really serious today." "Shouldn't I be serious about the college entrance medical exam?" She was momentarily stumped by my question. Just then, a girl behind leaned in and said, "Jixia, are you set for the military academy? You're so physically strong." Before I could respond, Lin Wanqing smiled and answered for me, "Of course she is. Jixia has wanted to go to the military academy since childhood, and her dad is a veteran." Her tone was warm, as if she was happy for me, but the next second, she lowered her voice and added, "But you can never be too sure about these exams. What if there's a hidden issue? No one can do anything about it." The girl behind didn't pick up on anything, just casually said, "True." I looked at Lin Wanqing, and she winked at me. "I'm just saying, don't mind it." I smiled too. "I don't, because soon enough, the one who should mind won't be me." The line moved forward again. The blood-drawing window started to get crowded, with students from several schools mixed together. Teachers were busy maintaining order, and the medical center staff urged impatiently, "Next, put the form here, take out your ID, don't rush." Girls line up on the left. "Don't put the file bag on the window, it's easy to mix up." As soon as the words, "easy to mix up," came out, I felt Lin Wanqing's breath lighten. This was what she was waiting for. In the previous life, right at the blood-drawing window, a boy from another school suddenly bumped into the line, and a few sheets from my documents fell. Lin Wanqing crouched down to help me pick them up, and when she stood up, my medical form had been swapped. Only later did I find out it wasn't an accident. That boy was a middle school classmate of Lin Wanqing. In this life, I scanned the crowd and quickly spotted that face, tall and thin, wearing a black short-sleeved shirt, holding a medical form but constantly looking our way. His and Lin Wanqing's eyes briefly met. That was him. My heartbeat quickened, but my hands were steady. I switched my phone to video mode, held its screen down in my palm, with the camera pointing directly at my own folder. Lin Wanqing didn't know yet. She said softly, "Jixia, it's so crowded here. Give me your documents, I'll hold them for you." I shook my head. "No need. Why are you being so distant? We're so close." "Exactly because we're close, I don't want to trouble you." She was left speechless. The students ahead had just finished drawing blood and left, causing the crowd to suddenly surge forward. At that moment, the boy in black squeezed in from the side. Excuse me." His shoulder bumped into the girl behind me. She let out a startled cry, and the entire row wobbled. Lin Wanqing immediately steadied me. "Jixia, be careful." Her hand pressed against my wrist, while her other hand reached for my document folder. I didn't dodge right away. I let her get close. She thought I was disoriented from the collision, and her fingers swiftly pried open the folder's seal. In that instant, I could even see the barely contained urgency in her eyes. She pulled a folded corner of a medical checkup form from her own folder and stuffed it into mine, quick and practiced, exactly like in the previous life. My phone camera happened to be recording her hand. My heart turned ice cold. It turned out it wasn't my bad luck from my past life, not the chaos at the checkup center, not my own carelessness. She really had personally stolen my life. After stuffing the form in, she tried to take mine out. I suddenly clamped down on the folder. Lin Wanqing's movement stopped. She looked up at me, a flicker of panic in her eyes, but I acted as if I noticed nothing, merely turning to the boy who had bumped into me. "Why are you pushing?" the boy in black said impatiently. "We're all in line. It wasn't on purpose." I didn't argue with him. "Fine." I turned and called out to Teacher Zhou. "Teacher Zhou, someone's cutting in line and bumping into people here. Could you take a look?" Teacher Zhou immediately came over. The boy in black's face changed color, and he quickly squeezed back into the other school's line. Lin Wanqing slowly withdrew her hand. She had only managed to slip in one form and didn't have time to take my original. That meant there were now 2 medical checkup forms in my folder. One was mine, and one was hers. I looked at her with a faint smile. "Wanqing, just now when you steadied me," her throat moved. "It's nothing, but why is your face so pale?" "Maybe it's too stuffy with all these people." "Then why not let the doctor check you out too?" She forced a weak smile. "Okay." Teacher Zhou walked over and asked, "Are you all right?" I raised my folder. "Teacher, I'd like to go to the registration window now to verify the documents." Lin Wanqing immediately said, "Is that really necessary? We'll be up soon." I looked at her. "Is it unnecessary?" She bit her lip. Without waiting for her reply, I headed straight for the registration window. Dr. Chen in the window, wearing a mask, was typing on the computer with his head down. Name, Shenji Xia, ID card. I handed it over, the medical form. I opened the file folder, not pulling it out myself, but taking out the materials one by one in front of the doctor and Teacher Zhou. The first was my medical form, the second was the one Lin Wanqing had folded at the corner. Dr. Chen's hand stopped, and Teacher Zhou was stunned too. "How come there are 2 medical forms?" Lin Wanqing took a soft breath behind me. I glanced back at her, then placed my phone on the counter, saying clearly, "Teacher, please check the numbers." The area in front of the window suddenly fell silent. Dr. Chen looked at me first, then down at the 2 forms. Teacher Zhou picked up one of them, his brow furrowing deeper. "Shenji Xia, this is yours. Number A1736. He picked up the other. "This one, Lin Wanqing. Number A1742. Lin Wanqing immediately stepped forward. "How could this happen?" Her voice trembled, as if she were genuinely frightened. "How did my form end up with Jixia?" I didn't say anything. She reacted quickly, her eyes instantly reddening. "Jixia, did you accidentally grab the wrong one just now? We were standing close. Maybe the crowd jostled us and they got mixed up." This line was exactly the same as in the previous life. In the previous life, when the numbers didn't match, she also first said, "Maybe you grabbed the wrong one," and when I panicked, she cried and said, "Maybe you were too nervous and accidentally slipped mine in." Everyone thought she was considerate, while I, in my rush to explain, became more and more flustered, until it seemed like I was guilty. "In this life, I just looked at her. I never touched your file folder." Lin Wanqing's tears fell quickly. "I never said you did it on purpose. Jixia, don't be so sensitive. We're friends. How could I suspect you?" Teacher Zhou looked at us with a headache. "Don't cry first. Did either of you touch the other's materials just now?" Lin Wanqing immediately shook her head. "No, I've been holding mine the whole time." After saying that, she seemed to suddenly think of something and looked at me. "But just now, someone bumped into us, and I steadied Jixia. Maybe at that moment, I accidentally." She didn't finish the sentence, but the implication was clear. Maybe at that moment I accidentally grabbed the wrong one, or maybe at that moment I slipped her form in while it was chaotic. A few classmates around started whispering, "Isn't this too coincidental? Could it really be a mix-up? But they're such good friends. There's no reason to." I lifted my phone to check the recording. The footage was clear. Lin Wanqing reached into my file folder and slipped in her folded form, but I didn't expose her right away, because this clip alone wasn't enough. I needed her to keep talking, to make her shift the blame to me herself, so everyone could see it wasn't a mistake, but a counterattack. Dr. Chen placed the 2 forms on the inside of the counter, college entrance exam physical forms. Cannot be mixed privately, we need to check the registration records now, you two stand aside and don't touch the forms anymore. Lin Wanqing grew anxious. Doctor, I'm about to have my blood drawn, will this delay the other procedures? Dr. Chen's voice was stern, this isn't about delays now, it's about data irregularities. Teacher Zhou also frowned. Lin Wanqing, take out your file folder first. Lin Wanqing froze for a moment. Teacher, my form might be with Jixia, so there shouldn't be one in my folder. Teacher Zhou's tone left no room for refusal. Lin Wanqing slowly unzipped her file folder. Inside were a copy of her ID, her admission ticket, school notices, and one physical exam form. Teacher Zhou pulled it out and his expression darkened. You have another one here. Lin Wanqing's face went completely pale. I looked over too. That was my spare copy. In my past life, I didn't know. Lin Wanqing hadn't just swapped the main form, she had also stolen a copy from my backpack beforehand to check the format and mimic the handwriting. This rebirth came too suddenly, and I hadn't had time to check my bag. I didn't realize she had already made her move. Teacher Zhou flipped the form over, and after seeing the name column, his voice turned cold. Shen Jixia's spare copy, why is it in your file folder? The murmurs around us grew louder. Lin Wanqing shook her head frantically. I don't know. I really don't. Maybe the teacher mixed them up when handing out materials yesterday. I finally spoke up. Yesterday, we picked up the materials ourselves. Lin Wanqing turned to me, tears streaming down her face. Jixia, what do you mean by that? Nothing much, I said, just reminding you. Yesterday, each of us signed for our own materials by name. The teacher didn't stuff them into our folders. Teacher Zhou immediately flipped through his registration list. He had a distribution log with everyone's signatures for receiving materials. Soon he found the page. Shen Jixia signed at 10:22 a.m. yesterday. Lin Wanqing signed at 10:25 a.m. He looked up at Lin Wanqing. You didn't pick them up at the same time. Lin Wanqing's lips trembled. But Jixia and I later printed materials together. Maybe at that time. I cut her off. I didn't print the physical exam form with you. A flicker of anger finally appeared in his eyes. Very faint and brief. But I saw it. In my past life, it was the same. Every time I didn't go along with him, that impatience would surface in his gaze. Back then, I was too foolish, always thinking he was upset because I had misunderstood him. Lin Wanqing clenched her fingers. Jixia, why have you been targeting me all day? I've already said I don't know. We've been friends for so many years, and you have to embarrass me at a time like this. She cried even harder. You want to apply to military academy, and so do I, but I never thought about competing with you. You can't just because you're afraid I'll pass. And I looked at her, and what? She choked up and fell silent. That's when Lu Mei burst in. She arrived too fast for someone who just got the news. More like she had been waiting nearby for the result. Wanqing, Lu Mei pushed through the crowd and hugged Lin Wanqing. What's going on? Who bullied you? Lin Wanqing threw herself into her arms, sobbing with trembling shoulders. Mom, I don't know why my medical exam form ended up with Jixia. She's suspicious of me now. Lu Mei immediately turned to glare at me. Shen Jixia, what do you mean by this? You and Wanqing grew up together. Don't you know her character? Would she ever harm you? I looked at Lu Mei. In my past life, she had scolded me like this too. She stood in the school office, pointing at me and saying, you can't pass the exam yourself, so you blame others. A kid with a twisted mind like yours, the military academy was right to reject you. Back then, my mom was so furious her face turned pale, and my dad ran countless errands to find the truth, only to end up in a car accident in the heavy rain. Thinking of my father lying in the hospital bed, I slowly tightened my fingers, but I didn't argue. I just asked, Auntie, how did you know the problem was with the medical exam form? Lu Mei froze. What? I turned on my phone's voice recorder and put it in my pocket, my voice still steady. Teacher Zhou hasn't contacted the parents yet. And the doctor only said, abnormal data. You came in and immediately said, I suspect Lin Wanqing, and that she wouldn't harm me. How did you know we were talking about the medical exam form? Panic flickered across Lu Mei's face. Lin Wanqing quickly grabbed her mom. Mom, I just sent you a message. She pulled out her phone to prove it. I glanced at the time. She might have sent a message, but she was panicking, and that was enough. Teacher Zhou frowned. Lin Wanqing, weren't you just crying here the whole time? When did you send a message? Lin Wanqing's movements froze. Just now, I said. Teacher can check the sending time on her phone. Lin Wanqing immediately turned off her phone. Shenjixia, you've gone too far. What right do you have to look at my phone? Lu Mei snapped back to reality, raising her voice. Exactly. Who do you think you are? A cop? You think you can just check whatever you want? I nodded. I'm not a cop, so I won't check your phone. They both relaxed slightly, but I continued. But I demand that both medical exam forms be sealed on site, the surveillance footage near the blood draw station be retrieved, and the admissions office be notified. As for the phone, when the time comes, there will naturally be someone qualified to check it. The surroundings fell completely silent. Teacher Zhou's gaze toward me shifted. He probably never expected an 18-year-old student to articulate things so clearly. Lin Wanqing hadn't expected it either. Tears hung on his face, neither falling nor retreating. Lu Mei was the first to explode. Who are you trying to scare? A little misunderstanding between kids and you're making a federal case out of it. Don't you know making a big deal out of this hurts both of you? I know, I said, which is why I want to clear it up now. Clear what up? It's just 2 forms that got misplaced. Is it really that serious? It is. I looked at him. This form is tied to the military academy physical exam. It's tied to early admission eligibility. And it's tied to where my 12 years of schooling lead. Lu Mei sneered. You make it sound so dire. Who knows if you're just afraid of competing with Wanqing and... Deliberately stirring this up, Lin Wanqing muttered softly, Mom, don't say that. Jixia might just be too nervous. The mother-daughter duos practiced back and forth made me want to laugh. In my past life, they had me cornered like this. The more I explained, the more aggrieved they seemed, the more agitated I got, the more innocent they appeared. This time, I wouldn't hand them my emotions as weapons. I turned to Dr. Chen and asked, Doctor, I'd like to ask, if physical exam forms get mixed up, what's the correct procedure? Dr. Chen glanced at Teacher Zhou, then at us, and said seriously, stop the current process, verify identity registration. If there's an anomaly, it must be jointly reviewed by the school, the exam center, and the admissions department if necessary. No one is allowed to take anomalous forms away privately. I nodded, then I request that we follow the procedure. Lin Wanqing's fingers clenched suddenly. Lu Mei's face darkened too. Teacher Zhou hesitated. Shen Jixia, the whole school is undergoing exams right now, and the schedule is tight. If we report this, it might affect your subsequent checks. How about we just sort out the 2 forms and continue the exam? We can deal with it back at school. There it was, just like in my past life. To avoid disrupting the big picture, to not delay the process, to spare the school embarrassment. First, suppress it. But what gets suppressed is never the issue. It's my life. I looked at Teacher Zhou, my voice low but clear enough. Teacher, if we don't register the anomaly today, and something goes wrong with the results later, who takes responsibility? Teacher Zhou froze. I continued, would it be counted as me not watching my own documents, or as the school discovering an anomaly on site but failing to handle it? At these words, Teacher Zhou's expression changed. He finally realized this couldn't be brushed aside. He turned to Dr. Chen and said, please go ahead and register the anomaly first. Dr. Chen nodded, placed the 2 forms into a transparent evidence bag-like folder, and called over a staff member. Anomaly at the blood draw station, numbers A1736, A1742, involving 2 candidates from No. 1 high school. Register them first. Lin Wanqing suddenly rushed over. No. Everyone looked at him. He realized his reaction was too strong and quickly corrected himself. I mean, I don't want to hold Jixia back. He wants to get into the military academy so badly. If I affect him because of this, I'll feel guilty. I looked at him. Don't worry, I said, my voice very soft. In this life, whoever affects whom will definitely be sorted out. His eyes trembled sharply. He couldn't understand this life, but he understood my refusal to back down. The staff brought over an incident report form and asked us to each write down what happened on site. Lin Wanqing held the pen but hesitated to write. I glanced at the pen in his hand. It wasn't his, it was my blue ballpoint pen. When did he take it? In the chaos earlier. I pressed my hand on the table. Wait a moment. Lin Wanqing looked up, his eyes full of vigilance. I pointed at the pen in his hand. That's my pen. He glanced down and forced a smile. I just grabbed a pen casually. Are you really going to make a fuss about it? Yes, I am. I pulled another black pen from the side pocket of my bag. It's safest to use your own pen for high school exam materials. Put my pen down first. Don't use it anymore. His expression turned completely sour. Teacher Zhou glanced at him. Lin Wanqing, Use your own pen. Lin Wanqing slowly placed my pen back on the table. It rolled half a turn and stopped in front of me. I didn't touch it. I wrapped it in a tissue and put it into another small bag. Lu Mei sneered. What an act, treating a broken pen like evidence. I looked up at her. Auntie, you just gave me an idea. I pulled the small bag tight. Maybe it will come in handy. Lu Mei's smile froze on her face. After the incident report was filled out, Dr. Chen asked us to wait temporarily in the break room. The health check center needed to contact the school authorities and the admissions department. Lin Wanqing kept his head down, tears dripping one by one onto the report form. He was still putting on an act, but I knew he was panicking inside, because in my past life, the first step went smoothly for him. This time, he only managed to slip in one form, didn't take mine, and left behind video footage, numbered photos, teacher confirmation, and doctor records. Every time he reached out, he left a trail of evidence against himself. The break room was freezing cold. Lin Wanqing sat across from me, shoulders trembling, crying as if he had suffered some great injustice. Lu Mei sat beside him, wiping his tears while glaring coldly at me. Wanqing, don't be afraid. Mom is here. If you didn't do it, no one can pin it on you. I looked down and organized the photos on my phone, saved the photo of the health check form number, saved the sequence of documents in the file bag, saved the video from the blood draw counter, saved the audio recording from the check-in desk. My movements were slow and steady. Lin Wanqing watched my hands and suddenly spoke. Jixia, do you really have to do this? I looked up. His eyes were red, his voice very soft. We've known each other for 12 years. When you were teased by boys in elementary school, I stood up for you. When you had a fever in middle school, I bought you medicine. Have you forgotten? I hadn't forgotten. In my past life, I didn't suspect him because of these memories either, but later I realized, a person's kindness can be real, and their jealousy can also be real. He could be good to me in small matters, and he could destroy me in big ones. Even more, the kinder he was to me in the past, the easier it was for him to stab me in the back later, because he knew I would soften. I pressed the screen of my phone off. I haven't forgotten. Lin Wanqing's eyes lit up. I continued, so, it makes me even more curious, after 12 years of friendship. Why did your health check form end up in my file bag? His lips trembled. Lu Mei immediately slammed the table. Are you never going to let this go? The lounge door was pushed open. Teacher Zhou walked in, followed by the homeroom teacher, Teacher Zhao Ming. Teacher Zhao was the homeroom teacher in our senior year who cared most about admissions data. Normally, he was good to me because I had stable grades and a chance at early admission to the military academy, earning me the label of a key seedling. In his words, last time something happened, he also advised me to let it go. He said, Shenjixia, life isn't just about the military academy. If you keep making a fuss, it will affect your mindset. What about the college entrance exam? Back then, I thought he was looking out for me. Only later did I realize he was worried about the school getting into trouble, afraid that abnormal medical records of top students would affect the admissions process, and anxious that if the story got out, parents would question the school's management. In this life, I watched him walk in with no expectations in my heart. Teacher Zhao first looked at me, then at Lin Wanqing. What's going on? How could you mess up something as important as the medical exam? Lu Mei immediately stood up. Teacher Zhao, you've come just in time. Our Wanqing has been wronged. Shenjixia, for some reason, insists that Wanqing switched her watch. The two of them are usually so close, and now suddenly this happens. Is that reasonable? Lin Wanqing lowered her head and sniffled. Teacher, I really didn't. Teacher Zhao looked at me. Shenjixia, you speak. I didn't rush to accuse. I just handed over my phone. Teacher, this is a photo of my number taken before queuing. Teacher Zhou also verified it. My number is A1736. Teacher Zhou nodded. I did verify it. I continued to the second clip. This is the footage from in front of the blood draw window, since it was crowded and I was afraid of losing my documents. I started recording. Lin Wanqing jerked her head up. Lu Mei's face also changed. Teacher Zhao took the phone and played the video. The footage was a bit shaky but clear. At first, it showed my file bag in the floor at my feet. When the crowd pressed in, a boy in black bumped into me. Lin Wanqing reached out to steady me. His other hand quickly opened my file bag and slipped a folded medical form inside. I paused the video there. No one in the lounge spoke. Teacher Zhao's face gradually darkened. Lin Wanqing suddenly stood up. That's not how it happened. He lunged forward crying, trying to grab my phone. I immediately stepped back, and teacher Zhou blocked him. Lin Wanqing, calm down, the angle of this video is wrong. I was just helping him pick up his documents. That form was already beside her bag. I just picked it up and put it in. I asked calmly, didn't you just say you never touched my documents? Lin Wanqing froze. Everyone, including himself, recalled his earlier words. He had said, I've been holding my own. He had said, I don't know why the form ended up with you, but now the video clearly showed his hand reaching into my file bag. Lu Mei immediately covered for him. He's scared and misremembered. Kids get nervous when so many people crowd around questioning them. I nodded, then keep watching. I advanced the video a few seconds. After Lin Wanqing slipped in the form, his hand reached back inside the file bag, clearly trying to pull something out, but I happened to clasp the bag shut, so he stopped. Teacher Zhao's face had already turned extremely grim. Lin Wanqing, explain yourself. Lin Wanqing's tears fell even harder. I really didn't mean to. I was so flustered at the time. I thought that was Jixia's form. Why is your form in your hand? I asked. He looked up at me. I continued, if you were just helping me pick up the documents, what you stuffed in should have been something you picked up off the floor, but in the video, he had pulled it from the direction of his own file folder. Lin Wanqing's lips turned pale. I can't remember clearly. I added, also, why is there a spare copy of my form in your own file folder? He was completely unable to answer. Lu Mei rushed to stand in front of him. Shenjixia, don't be so aggressive. How can a young girl like you be so calculating? Recording in advance. Were you planning to harm our Wanqing all along? That line was all too familiar. When I had no evidence, she said I was making baseless accusations. Now that I had evidence, she said I had it all planned out. No matter what, if I fought back, it was my fault. I looked at Lu Mei. Auntie, you're right, I did record in advance. She was taken aback, not expecting me to admit it. I continued, because the college entrance exam materials affect my admission eligibility. I didn't want anything to go wrong. May I ask, does this count as harming someone, or protecting myself? Lu Mei's voice faltered. Teacher Zhao rubbed his temples. Let's not argue about this here for now. The health check center has already flagged the anomaly. We'll deal with it back at school. I looked at him. Teacher Zhao, I haven't finished my health check yet. He was startled. I said, I request, without touching the anomalous form, to use the system-registered information to reprint a temporary verification slip, continue with my own health check items, and have all results entered directly into the system to prevent the form from being tampered with again. Dr. Chen happened to walk in just then and nodded upon hearing this. That's possible. After the anomalous form is sealed, the candidate can continue the check using their ID and system number. The subsequent results will be linked by the system. Teacher Zhao glanced at me, and for the first time, there was a hint of seriousness in his eyes. All right, let's ensure the health check is completed first. Lin Wanqing immediately asked, what about me? Dr. Chen said, you can continue too, but the anomaly in your number will be noted. Lin Wanqing grew anxious. A note will affect the results. The doctor looked at him. If there's no issue, it won't affect the final true results, but the anomalous procedure must be recorded. Lin Wanqing's face looked as if someone had slapped him. What he feared most was records, because records meant he couldn't just cry his way out of it. The medical examination continued. I held the reprinted temporary verification slip and checked off each item one by one: blood draw, height and weight, vision, hearing, internal medicine, surgery. At every station, I proactively verified my name, ID number, and case number. Some doctors thought I was being overly cautious, others nodded and said, that's the right thing to do. Lin Wanqing trailed behind me the whole time. She no longer dared to get close to my documents, but her gaze grew colder by the minute. While waiting outside the vision test room, she finally couldn't resist walking up to me. Shenjixia. She rarely called me by my full name. I turned my head. She lowered her voice. Did you suspect me all along? I stared at the eye chart on the white wall ahead. What do you want me to say? We're friends. She gritted out. Did you really have to go this far? I gave a faint smile. When you slipped that form into my bag, did you think of us as friends? Her face twitched. I said I didn't mean to. Then wait for the investigation. She locked eyes with me, and for the first time, the usual warmth in her gaze was gone. Do you really think you've won like this? Shenjixia, the college entrance exam isn't just about the physical. If you make a scene like this, how will the teachers see you? How will your classmates see you? Would a military academy want someone who stirs up trouble? I finally turned to face her. So you admit this is stirring up trouble, not a misunderstanding. She realized she'd slipped up again, and a flash of regret crossed her face. I pulled my phone out of my pocket. The recording app was still running. Her pupils contracted. You're recording? Yeah, I said. Started from the moment you asked me. Did you suspect me all along? The color drained from her face. I put my phone away. Lin Wanqing, I'll give you some advice. Think before you speak. Every word you say now could be evidence. She turned and walked away. The day's medical exam went very smoothly for me. Every result in the system was linked to my ID and case number. Dr. Chen told me at the end, the preliminary items are fine. The final results will be compiled and announced later. When I walked out of the medical center, the afternoon sun stung my eyes. My father was already standing at the entrance, wearing an old shirt and holding a bottle of water and some bread. The moment I came out, he stepped forward. Jixia, how was it? I looked at him. In my previous life, he had stood at this same entrance waiting for me, later, to help me investigate the problems with my physical exam. He had run back and forth between the school, the hospital, and the admissions office, pushed aside everywhere he went. On the last day, he was riding his electric scooter in the rain to get a copy of some documents when a truck hit him. After that, my life completely collapsed. This time, I walked over and took the water from his hand. The exam is fine. He let out a sigh of relief. Good. I paused. But someone tried to make it go wrong. The smile on my father's face slowly faded. Who? I looked back. Not far away, Lin Wanqing and Lu Mei were walking out of the medical center. Lu Mei was on the phone, her expression dark. Lin Wanqing kept her head down, crying silently like a victim. I watched them, my voice soft but each word clear. Lin Wanqing. My father's hands suddenly tightened around the water bottle, the plastic crumpling with a harsh sound. On the bus back to school, the atmosphere was suffocating. Our school had rented 2 buses, and students who had completed their medical exams sat according to their classes. I sat by the window, and my father, worried, greeted Teacher Zhao and took a seat in the last row. Lin Wanqing sat 2 rows ahead of me. She had been crying, not loudly, but enough for everyone around to know she had been wronged. A few girls surrounded her, whispering comfort. Wanqing, don't cry, it might just be a misunderstanding. Jixia was too serious today. Yeah, even with the video, it doesn't mean you did it on purpose. There were so many people. Lin Wanqing choked out. I don't blame Jixia. She really wants to get into military school. I understand her nerves. With one sentence, she absolved herself completely and painted me as someone willing to sacrifice friendship for a military school spot. In my past life, she did the same. Step by step, she built up public opinion. First it was a misunderstanding, then, Shen Jixia is too sensitive, then, Shen Jixia failed her exam and is jealous of Lin Wanqing, until finally, I couldn't even walk into a classroom without hearing someone say, I never knew she had such a dirty heart. That suffocating feeling of being misunderstood by the whole world. I still remember it, but in this life, I didn't look back, and I didn't explain. I just backed up the evidence on my phone to the cloud again and sent another copy to my dad. My father, sitting in the back, received the message and looked up at me. I turned and nodded at him. He didn't say a word, but his eyes were terrifyingly dark. When the bus pulled back into school, quite a few parents were already standing at the gate. The college entrance exam medical check was a big deal, and Lin Wanqing's mother had posted a few ambiguous messages in the parent group. The child was baselessly suspected by a classmate at the exam site, cried the whole way. Kids today are under too much pressure, and it breaks our hearts as parents. She didn't name names, but in a school this size, there weren't many senior girls applying for military school. It didn't take long for people to guess it was me. As soon as I got off the bus, I heard a parent nearby mutter in a low voice, that girl, right? Heard she messed up her own form and accused someone else of sabotaging her. My father stopped in his tracks. I grabbed him. Dad, don't argue now. He looked at me, his eyes red-rimmed. Jixia, you're suffering this kind of injustice. Why are you still so calm? I said, because winning an argument won't help. I want the truth. I want her to never be able to stand in front of me in a stolen uniform and say, this is fate. Teacher Zhao called Lin Wanqing and me to the office. Teacher Zhou was also there, along with the principal's assistant, the grade director, and the teacher in charge of admissions materials. Quite a crowd. Lin Wanqing bowed as soon as she entered. Teacher, I'm sorry for causing trouble for the school. Her eyes were red, her voice hoarse, and she looked utterly pitiful. Lu Mei sighed as well. Teacher, our Wanqing has always been timid, she was terrified today. If she really did something wrong, I'd make her apologize, but she has no ill intentions. I stood to the side, calmly watching their performance. The grade director looked at me. Shinjixia, tell us the situation again. I didn't add any emotion, just laid out the timeline. At 8:41 a.m. we were in line at the female group in the exam center. At 8:42, I took a photo of my material number, and teacher Zhou verified it. Number A1736. Around 8:50, there was a crowd at the blood draw station, and Lin Wanqing reached out and touched my file bag. At 8:52, at the registration window, I found an extra exam form in my file bag, Lin Wanqing's number A1742, and then discovered my spare copy of the exam form in Lin Wanqing's file bag. I opened the photos, videos, and registration anomaly records one by one. This is the timestamp of the photo, this is the video, this is the anomaly registration from the exam center, and this is the number verified by teacher Zhou. The office grew quieter. Lin Wanqing bit her lip, while Lu Mei, though pale-faced, still forced herself to hold on, saying all this doesn't prove Wanqing deliberately swapped the forms. It's normal for kids to mix up documents. I turned to her. Auntie, is it normal to mix up college entrance exam medical forms? Lu Mei choked. The academic affairs teacher immediately said, of course not. I pressed on. Then why did Lin Wanqing first say she never touched my forms, only to claim after the video came out that she was just picking them up for me? Lin Wanqing's tears fell again. I was scared at the time. Can't I make a mistake in what I said? I nodded. You can. She froze. I looked at the teachers. So, I'm not asking for a final verdict right now. I'm only asking the school to follow procedure and report to the admissions office, seal both forms, retrieve the surveillance footage, keep a record of the anomaly. Teacher Zhao frowned. Shinjixia, if the admissions office gets involved, this will blow up. I asked. Teacher, if they don't get involved, who will prove my innocence? He fell silent. The grade director cleared his throat. The school's idea is to handle this internally first. You both still have the college entrance exam. There's no need to make this ugly. I smiled faintly. What's ugly? The investigation, or the swapped medical forms? The office fell silent again. Lu Mei couldn't hold back. Shinjixia, don't keep throwing around the word swap. You're slandering her. I picked up the copy of the anomaly report on the table, then let the process prove whether it's slander. Lu Mei was so angry her chest heaved. Lin Wanqing suddenly stood up and walked over to me. Jixia, I apologize to you, she said tearfully, even if I didn't mean it. As long as you feel hurt, I apologize. Let's not make a scene, okay? There are only a few dozen days until the exam. I don't want this to affect you. She reached out to grab me. I stepped back. You're not apologizing to me, you're telling me to shut up. Her tears paused for a moment. I said, if you think you're not wrong, you should support the investigation. Only by getting to the bottom of this can you clear your name, right? At these words, her expression shifted slightly. Lu Mei immediately jumped in. Of course we're not afraid of an investigation, but making a scene like this will ruin Wanqing's reputation. A girl being publicly accused of swapping forms, how will her classmates see her from now on? I looked at Lu Mei and finally asked the question I never had the chance to in my past life. Auntie, if it were me who was wrongly flagged as having a medical issue today, who would be responsible for my reputation and future? I almost said, in my past life, but thankfully stopped in time. No one noticed my pause, except Lin Wanqing, who glanced at me with a hint of confusion. Lu Mei sneered. But you're fine, aren't you? My voice turned cold. So, I have to actually suffer for her to be wrong. Lu Mei fell completely silent. My father had been standing by the door the whole time without speaking. Now he finally spoke up. Teachers, my daughter has wanted to apply for military academy since she was a child. She's been getting up at 5:30 every morning to run since middle school, and since her first year of high school. She's been protecting her eyesight and health according to military academy medical standards. What happened today? This isn't a quarrel between two kids, it's an anomaly in college entrance exam admissions materials. His voice wasn't loud, but it carried a force that silenced the room. I'm also a veteran. I know the importance of discipline and procedure. I won't accept a private settlement. I won't accept a vague resolution, and I won't accept my daughter sacrificing her future for someone else's reputation. My nose stung. In my past life, I was always afraid of worrying my parents, so I bore many grievances alone. in this life. I finally know that those who truly love me won't find me a burden, they'll only hate that they found out too late. Teacher Zhao's expression was complicated, and the grade director no longer mentioned internal coordination. Teacher Zhou said in a low voice, I suggest reporting it as an anomaly. I did verify Shen Jixia's number on site, and I saw with my own eyes that both forms appeared in the same file bag. The medical center has already registered it, the school can't cover this up. The principal's assistant nodded, then follow the procedure. Lu Mei grew anxious. What do you mean by this? Are you going to ruin my daughter's reputation based on a single video? My father looked at her. No one is ruining her, just getting to the bottom of it. Even if you clear things up, people will still gossip about her, my father said coldly. When she reached out her hand, she should have thought about that. Lin Wanqing suddenly lifted his head, his eyes finally revealing resentment. But he quickly lowered his head again, crying even harder. In the end, the school decided to submit a statement to the admissions office that day, while also applying to retrieve the surveillance footage from the medical center and temporarily sealing the anomalous forms. By the time I walked out of the office, it was already dark. At the end of the hallway, Lin Wanqing caught up to me. His face was dry of tears, with only a trace of redness at the corners of his eyes. Shen Jixia, I stopped. He stood in the shadows, his voice cold and unlike him. Do you have to push me to this point? I turned to face him. This point wasn't pushed by me. If I really get punished, would you be satisfied? If my future is swapped away for yours, would you be happy? He stared at me intently. Isn't your future still intact? I looked at him and suddenly found it laughable. In his eyes, as long as the harm didn't succeed, it wasn't harm. As long as the theft wasn't completed, it wasn't theft. If the knife didn't go in, he could blame the other person for dodging. I took a step forward. Lin Wanqing, do you know what your biggest flaw is? He said nothing. You're too impatient. Impatient to cry, impatient to explain, impatient to shut me up, impatient to prove your innocence. But truly innocent people should be most impatient to find out the truth. His face gradually turned pale. I didn't look at him again. As I turned to leave, his suppressed yet sharp voice came from behind me. Shen Jixia, don't you regret this? I didn't look back. Last time, it was me who regretted. This time, it's his turn. The next morning during morning reading, the atmosphere in the classroom was even more oppressive than before the mock exams. As soon as I walked into the class, those who had been talking immediately fell silent. Dozens of eyes landed on me, some curious, some suspicious, and some eager for drama. Lin Wanqing hadn't arrived yet. His seat was in front of mine, his desk spotless, as if its owner had only stepped away temporarily. I put down my backpack and took out my English exam paper. My desk mate, Su Wei, glanced at me, hesitating as if she wanted to say something but held back. Su Wei and I weren't usually close. To be precise, she wasn't close to most people in the class. In our sophomore year, she had been on good terms with Lin Wanqing, but they fell out over something unknown. Lin Wanqing said she was weird and jealous, and everyone gradually kept their distance. In my past life, I believed it too, until after I was ostracized by the whole class. Su Wei once slipped me a bottle of water on the stairwell and said, "Be careful of Lin Wanqing, this isn't her first time." By then, I was already exhausted in body and mind and had no energy to ask further. Later, Su Wei transferred schools, and we never contacted each other again. This time around, she sat next to me, fingers gripping a pen as if deliberating for a long time. I spoke first. What do you want to say? Su Wei was startled. Did you really catch him switching watches yesterday? I did. She lowered her head and fell silent for a few seconds, then asked, "Did you back it up?" I looked at her. This wasn't a question someone just watching the fun would ask. I nodded. I backed it up. Su Wei let out a sigh of relief, then quickly composed herself. "That's good." I asked, "Do you know something?" She was about to speak when a commotion erupted at the classroom door. Lin Wanqing had arrived. His eyes were swollen, his face pale, and he was still wearing the same white short-sleeved shirt from yesterday. As soon as he entered, a few girls gathered around him. "Wanqing, are you okay? Did you cry all night? What did the teacher say?" Lin Wanqing shook his head, his voice very soft. "I'm fine, everyone, don't ask. Jixia didn't mean it either." He glanced at me. "There might be some misunderstanding between us. I don't want to affect the class." As soon as these words were spoken, the looks directed at me in the classroom shifted again. I put down my pen. Lin Wanqing. The whole class went silent. He looked at me as if frightened. "What is it?" I stood up. You say I didn't mean it, so what exactly did I do intentionally? His expression stiffened. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? His eyes reddened again. Jixia, do you have to say these things in front of the class? I looked at him. You started it in front of the class. Someone muttered softly. She didn't really say anything, did she? I turned to the speaker. It was Chen Jia, one of Lin Wanqing's closest female friends. I asked, if someone said to you, you didn't mean it, but didn't tell you what you did, would you be comfortable? Chen Jia was speechless. Lin Wanqing bit his lip. I just wanted to ease the... I cut him off. You don't want misunderstandings. But you've already started one, the abnormal college entrance exam medical checkup data. The school has already reported it. Until things are clear, no one should forgive. On my behalf, or feels sorry for him. Lin Wanqing's face turned completely pale. He hadn't expected me to say this directly in front of the class. Because the old Shinjixia was most afraid of burning bridges, I feared making others uncomfortable, embarrassing friends, troubling teachers, worrying parents. I always put everyone else's feelings before my own, but the outcome of my past life taught me, if a person can't even hold on to their own fate, even if they make the whole world happy, no one will return justice to you for it. The morning reading bell rang, Teacher Zhao walked in, and the class instantly fell silent. He looked at Lin Wanqing and me, clearly having caught wind of the commotion. Everyone sit down, there are only a few days until the college entrance exam, focus on your studies. I sat down. Lin Wanqing also slowly took his seat. After the first class ended, he walked over to my desk. Jixia, let's talk. I didn't look up. Talk here. He gritted his teeth. Do you have to be like this? Yes. He glanced at the classmates around us and lowered his voice. You took this to the admissions office yesterday. I don't blame you, but can you at least delete the video, or at least stop showing it to others? I looked up, afraid someone will see you reaching out. A flash of embarrassment crossed his face. I told you it was a misunderstanding. Then there's nothing to be afraid of. He took a deep breath and changed his tone. Jixia, have you thought, if I get disqualified, my mom will lose it. She went through so many connections and spent so much effort to get me into the military academy. Our family isn't like yours. Your parents support you. I only have this one chance. I looked at him. When he took my chance in my past life, did he ever think I only had that one? No, he would only say, your family is at least intact. My mom raised me alone. It wasn't easy, but not easy isn't an excuse to harm others. I said, your chance should depend on your own physical condition and grades. Not on my watch. His gaze turned cold. Do you always have to be so harsh? The truth is harsher than words. He stared at me for a few seconds, then suddenly placed a blue pen on my desk. Your pen? I took it by mistake yesterday. My eyes fell on the pen. The cap had a tiny scratch. Mine, yesterday at the medical center. I had already wrapped up one pen he touched in a tissue. And now he was returning another, meaning he had taken at least two of my pens. In my past life, there was a signature on my abnormal records that was identified as highly consistent with the individual's writing habits. I couldn't figure it out at the time, but later I understood. Lin Wanqing had been mimicking my handwriting for a long time. He didn't act on impulse. He had been preparing for it for a while. I didn't touch the pen on the desk. Leave it there. He frowned. You're still afraid I did something to the pen? I lifted my eyes. You know whether you did or not. His expression turned fierce in an instant. Then, suddenly raising his voice, he said, Shinjixia, I've had enough. I'm just returning a pen. Do you have to suspect me like this? The classmates looked over again. I didn't play along with his act. I took out a small transparent bag, used a tissue to place the pen inside, sealed it, and wrote on the bag, time, June 17th, 9:42 a.m. Lin Wanqing returned one pen. The classroom was dead silent. Lin Wanqing's face was flushed red. Are you insane? This was the first time he had ever scolded me in public. I looked at him, upset. His chest heaved, as if he could no longer keep up the act. Su Wei suddenly spoke up. Of course he's upset. Everyone turned to look at Su Wei. Lin Wanqing's face changed instantly. Su Wei, shut up. Su Wei lifted her head, her gaze icy. What? Afraid I'll speak? Lin Wanqing sneered. I don't know what you're talking about. Su Wei pulled out an old notebook from her desk. The sophomore year physics competition registration form. My name was changed to a withdrawal confirmation. Later, the teacher said I signed it myself, but my pen was borrowed by you that day. The classroom erupted in murmurs. Lin Wanqing immediately retorted, don't you throw mud at me. Wasn't that matter already resolved? You didn't want to take the exam. and regretted it later, Su Wei sneered. Yeah, you were crying just like that back then. I looked at Su Wei. Her hands were trembling, but her voice was cold. Shinjixia, you'd better check if he's ever forged your signature. Lin Wanqing rushed over to snatch her notebook. I stood up to block him. What are you doing? She's slandering me. Then why are you grabbing it? Teacher Zhao happened to enter through the back door. What's going on? Lin Wanqing immediately withdrew his hand, tears flowing again. Teacher, Su Wei is slandering me. Su Wei hugged the notebook to her chest, her face pale, but she didn't retreat. I spoke up. Teacher Zhao, I suggest documenting what Su Wei said as well, even though it's not the same issue as this physical examination. It may involve similar signature and document issues. Teacher Zhao frowned deeper. Lin Wanqing shrieked. Shinjixia, are you determined to dump all the blame on me? I picked up the transparent bag on the table. It's not blame, it's something you touched. After lunch, Su Wei didn't go to the cafeteria. She waited for me at the corner of the stairs, holding that old notebook in her arms. Sunlight streamed in through the window, falling on the cuff of her school uniform. She kept her head down, as if she was used to not being believed. I walked over, looking for me. She nodded. It's not convenient to talk here. We went to an empty classroom on the top floor of the teaching building. This classroom was usually deserted, with few desks and chairs, the door unlocked, and the windows open, allowing the sound of whistles from the playground to drift in. Su Wei placed the notebook on the desk, flipped to the middle page, where several printed chat records were tucked in, along with a copy of a competition registration form. This is about the high school's sophomore physics competition. I had already passed the school selection at the time, and the list was submitted to the grade group. The day before the competition, the teacher suddenly informed me, saying I had signed withdrawal confirmation and given up my spot to Lin Wanqing. I flipped open that copy. The withdrawal confirmation column had Su Wei's name on it, and the handwriting really did look like hers. Su Wei pointed at the signature, but I didn't sign it. I was getting in 4 drip in the infirmary that day, and I had a leave note. Lin Wanqing came to see me and borrowed my notebook, said she'd help me copy the homework. I frowned. Didn't you appeal at the time? She let out a bitter laugh. I did. No one believed me. Lin Wanqing cried and said I was under too much pressure and didn't want to compete. Then regretted it later. She even showed screenshots of our chat where I said, I don't want to compete anymore. The screenshot was real, half truth, half lie. Su Wei said, what I actually sent was, I'm not feeling well, I really don't want to compete, but since I'd prepared for so long, I still had to go. She cut off the second half. This tactic was all too familiar. In my past life, he had also cut off my words. When I was breaking down, I sent him, am I never going to have another chance? I really hate myself for not watching the time. He later took my, I really hate myself for not watching the time, and posted it in the class group. Everyone said, look, she admits herself that she didn't watch the time. I closed my eyes. What happened next? Su Wei said, then Lin Wanqing took my place in the competition and won second prize. He went around saying I chickened out at the last minute, and that he was helping the school save the day. Why are you willing to talk about it now? Su Wei was silent for a long time, because yesterday I saw him cry, exactly the same as back then. Shinjixia, I'm not doing this to help you, I'm doing it to help the me from back then. I nodded. That's enough, no matter who it's for, as long as you're willing to tell the truth. That's enough. Her eyes were a bit red, and she quickly lowered her head, but this might not help. It's been too long. The teachers won't reinvestigate the competition. I know. I took photos of the materials and saved them. It might not directly prove his fault, but it can show he has a similar pattern of behavior. At least during the investigation, the teachers won't easily believe his tears anymore. Su Wei nodded. I asked again, do you still have the original chat records on your old phone? Can you extract them? Yes, but it'll take time. Don't rush. Back them up first. Don't send them to anyone. She looked at me and suddenly asked, why are you so experienced? My fingers paused. Her gaze was sharp. I smiled. Because, I've said it once before. Su Wei didn't press further. After leaving the empty classroom, I went to the print shop at the school gate. I compiled all the evidence from yesterday to today into a timeline. Part 1, retention of my original material serial numbers. Part 2, anomalies discovered during the physical examination. Part 3, video record of Lin Wanqing touching the document envelope. Part 4, contradictions in Lin Wanqing's earlier and later statements. Part 5, record of abnormal sealing and storage. Part 6, possible risk of forged signatures. Record Of pen preservation, I didn't write any emotional words. No vicious best friend, no stolen life, only time, place, people, actions, and evidence serial numbers. The print shop owner glanced at my several pages and casually asked, "Little girl, prepping materials?" I nodded, "Yeah, getting ready to take back what's mine." The owner didn't understand, just smiled and said, "Good luck on the college entrance exam." I packed the printed materials into a document envelope and suddenly felt the tangible weight in my hands. In my past life, I also ran around complaining, but back then, I didn't keep immediate records, didn't log anomalies on the spot, had no witnesses, no videos, and couldn't even control my own emotions. I said, "It wasn't me," countless times. No one believed me. In this life, I won't say, "It wasn't me." I'll let every piece of evidence speak for me. Back in the classroom that afternoon, the class group chat was already in chaos. Chen Jia had posted a photo of Lin Wanqing with red eyes at home, captioning it, "Some people are really going too far, messing with a classmate's mentality before the college entrance exam." Below, people quickly chimed in, "I don't know the truth, but seeing Wanqing cry like this really breaks my heart. Shenjixia used to seem pretty nice. Why so aggressive all of a sudden? The military academy competition is tough, I guess, understandable, but don't hurt friends." I looked at those messages, and my heart felt calm. In my past life, these comments were like knives, now they're more like evidence. I took screenshots of each one, saving them. Su Wei leaned close and whispered, "You're not going to explain. Explaining now is useless. Then when will you explain?" I looked up at Lin Wanqing in the front row. He was looking down at his phone, a faint smile curling at the corner of his mouth. He thought public opinion was on his side again. I said, "When he thinks he's already won." The last self-study session, Teacher Zhao called me out. He was the only one in the office. He closed the door, his tone much gentler than yesterday. "Shenjixia, I saw what happened in the class group. I've already asked the class monitor to remind everyone not to discuss it." I nodded. "Thank you, teacher." Teacher Zhao looked at the file folder in my hand. "You've prepared materials?" "Yes, for the admissions office. If the school needs them, I can also submit a copy here." He paused for a few seconds. "You're very calm right now." I looked at him but said nothing. He sighed. "It's not that I don't believe you, teacher. It's just that any disturbance before the college entrance exam could affect your state of mind. Your grades are so good. If the military academy really gets impacted, there are plenty of other good options among regular universities." I suddenly smiled. "Teacher, why should I accept a second choice in advance just because someone else made a mistake?" Teacher Zhao was stunned. I continued, "I want to apply for the military academy, not because I have no other options, but because it's my first choice." He looked at me, his expression complicated. I understood. Perhaps he wasn't a bad person, but many times, what crushes a person isn't malice, but those seemingly mature phrases. "Forget it, don't make a fuss, just pick another path. Life is long." But why does the thief still get a chance, while the victim has to learn to be magnanimous? Teacher Zhao finally nodded. "Give me a copy of your materials. I'll honestly submit them to the school." I took a photocopy from the file folder. "Thank you, teacher. Also, I hope the school will step in to stop the unfounded discussions about the investigation target and the whistleblower in the class group." Teacher Zhao was taken aback for a moment. I said, "I don't want to be hurt a second time before the college entrance exam." His expression turned serious. "I'll handle this matter." In the evening, I went with my father to the area near the medical examination center, not to cause a scene, but to check the routes. In my previous life, when the surveillance footage was missing, the center said the angle of the blood draw window was broken and the hallway cameras had failed to save data due to system maintenance. I was desperate back then, thinking the chain of evidence was broken. It wasn't until much later that I heard someone in a parent group say that the main hall of that medical center had its own independent backup in the security office, used to prevent doctor-patient disputes. It wasn't managed by the regular surveillance system. Unfortunately, it had already passed the retention period. In this life, I can't afford to miss it. My father stood with me outside the medical examination center. He frowned as he looked at the camera in the corner of the hall. "You think something will go wrong with the surveillance?" I nodded. "Yeah, why?" I fell silent. I couldn't mention my past life, so I could only say, "Lin Wanqing's mother arrived too fast yesterday. She probably knew the plan in advance. Maybe she knows someone inside." My father's eyes turned icy in an instant. I'll take the day off tomorrow to accompany you. I shook my head. Don't step in yet. Let's wait for the admissions office to request the official surveillance footage first. If they say it's broken, then we'll use our backup plan. My father looked at me, silent for a long moment. Jixia, you've grown up. My throat tightened with a pang of bitterness. He added, but I wish you didn't have to grow up so fast. I lowered my head and gripped the file folder tightly. The me from my past life didn't want to grow up either, but when someone pushes you into an abyss, no one waits for you to learn how to swim slowly. This time, I have to learn to wield the knife first. The school's coordination meeting was scheduled for the morning of the third day. The notice was politely worded, communication meeting on anomalies in medical examination materials, but I knew immediately that they still wanted to handle things internally. The meeting was held in the small conference room. By the time my father and I arrived, Lin Wanqing and Lu Mei were already seated inside. Lin Wanqing wore a light blue shirt today, his hair neat, his face not as haggard as yesterday. When he saw me, his eyes reddened again. Lu Mei, on the other hand, was completely different. She looked as if she had been through a battle, her gaze hard and fierce. On the other side of the table sat Teacher Zhou, the grade director, and the principal's assistant. 2 documents were placed on the table. I glanced at them. The title read, Situation Explanation and Mutual Understanding Record. I sneered internally. Just as I expected, Teacher Zhou spoke first. We've called everyone here today to try to sort things out as smoothly as possible. The admissions office has already received the school's preliminary explanation. The surveillance footage from the medical examination center is still being requested. Considering the approaching college entrance exams, the school hopes both sides can stabilize their emotions and avoid further escalation. Lu Mei immediately chimed in, we agree. Lin Wanqing never intended to cause trouble from start to finish. It's Jixia who keeps pressing the issue. My father's face darkened. I placed my hand on his to signal him not to speak yet. The principal's assistant pushed the documents forward. This is a draft explanation prepared by the school, roughly meaning, due to the crowded conditions at the medical examination site, 2 students' materials were mixed up. They have now been rechecked and it won't affect subsequent exams. Both parties should not pursue the matter further or spread it in the class. I picked up the document and scanned it. There was no mention of the video showing Lin Wanqing reaching out. No mention of the spare copy appearing in his folder. No mention of his contradictory statements. Only 4 words, materials mixed up. I placed the document back on the table. I won't sign. Lu Mei sneered, of course you won't sign. You're just itching to blow this up and make Lin Wanqing take the fall. I looked at the principal's assistant. Teacher, I want to ask, if I sign this explanation, does that mean I agree it was just an accidental mix-up? The principal's assistant looked a bit awkward. It's not agreeing, it's just using a safer explanation before a final conclusion is reached. Safe, for whom? The room fell silent. I continued, is it safe for the school, for Lin Wanqing, or for me, who nearly had my medical examination swapped? The grade director frowned. Jixia, watch your tone, the investigation hasn't concluded yet. You can't say, swapped. I nodded. Fair enough. Let me rephrase. I opened my file folder and laid out the photos, video screenshots, and copies of the anomaly record one by one on the table. Lin Wanqing's medical form appeared in my folder. My spare copy appeared in his. The video shows Lin Wanqing actively touching my materials during the crowd. Lin Wanqing first said he never touched them, then said he picked them up for me, then said he couldn't remember. May I ask, are any of these mentioned in the explanation? No one answered. Lin Wanqing kept his head down, tears dripping onto the back of his hand. Jixia, why do you have to be like this? I already said I didn't mean it. I'm willing to apologize to you and promise never to touch your materials again. Can't we just go back to how we were? I looked at him, feeling nothing. No. His shoulders stiffened. I said, from the moment you slipped that form into my folder, it was over. Lin Wanqing finally lifted his head, his eyes filled with tears. But you didn't suffer any loss. As soon as those words left his mouth, Lu Mei's expression shifted. She wanted to stop him but it was too late. My father stood up abruptly. No loss. Does my daughter have to have her medical exam altered, lose her admission qualification, and have her life derailed before you call it a loss? Lin Wanqing turned pale with fear. Lu Mei immediately shielded him. What are you doing, yelling at a child like that? My father stared coldly at her. And what do you call you two scheming against my daughter together? The atmosphere in the meeting room instantly broke down. Teacher Zhao quickly tried to smooth things over. Mr. Shen, please, have a seat. We're not forcing you. It's a negotiation. My father didn't sit down. Negotiation should be based on clarity. Right now, things are unclear, and you want my daughter to sign a non-prosecution agreement. That's not negotiation. I gently tugged at my father's sleeve. He took a deep breath and sat back beside me. I pushed the letter of understanding back. I'll only sign a factual record, not a vague statement. The principal's assistant also looked displeased. Shinjisha, you need to think carefully. The admissions office will also look at students' overall situation. Being too aggressive won't necessarily do you any good. The words sounded gentle, but they carried a threat. I looked up at him. Teacher, is safeguarding my own college entrance exam data called being aggressive? He fell silent. I continued, if an admissions unit rejects me because I reported an anomaly in my data, then it's not a good fit for me. But if I sign a statement that isn't true out of fear of that possibility, then I don't deserve to go where I want to go either. Teacher Zhou suddenly spoke up. I think Shinjisha has a point. Everyone looked at him. Teacher Zhou adjusted his glasses. I was at the scene yesterday. I did verify her number, and I did see 2 forms appear in the same file bag. As the lead teacher, I can't sign a conclusion of mixed up documents until the facts are clarified. I was somewhat surprised. Last time, he chose to dilute things. This time, because I had included him in the chain of evidence from the very first second, he had no way out. It turns out, many people's fairness isn't innate. It's when you lay the facts out so they can't avoid them. The principal's assistant's face stiffened even more. The grade director looked at the evidence on the table, sighed, and said, then let's wait for the surveillance footage. Lu Mei suddenly stood up. You're all biased. Shinjisha has good grades. She wants to apply to a military academy, so you're all siding with her. Teacher Zhao frowned. Ms. Lu, please calm down. I can't calm down. Lu Mei pointed at me. Shinjisha, you're just relying on your dad being a veteran and your grades being better than Wanqing's to look down on our family, aren't you? What makes Wanqing inferior to you? Why should all the good things go to you? After she said this, the meeting room fell into a deathly silence. Lin Wanqing yanked her mother. Too late. Lu Mei had blurted out what was in her heart. Why should all the good things go to you? That was the real reason. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a mistake in picking up. It was that they thought I had too much, that as long as they needed it more, they could take it from me. I looked at Lu Mei, my voice very soft. Auntie, so you do realize, those were good things of mine. Lu Mei's face turned pale. I packed up my file bag. Since today isn't about finding the facts, but about persuading me to admit fault, then I have no reason to stay here. The principal's assistant stood up. Shinjisha, don't be impulsive. I'm not impulsive. I pushed that letter of understanding to the center of the conference table. I won't sign this. If the school plans to submit it to the admissions office, please include my written refusal. Reason, the facts are not clarified, the evidence is not verified, and I refuse a vague assignment of responsibility. My father stood up as well. We reserve the right to report this to the higher education authorities. As soon as he said that, the meeting was completely over. As we left the school, my father's hand was still trembling, not from fear, but from anger. I bought him a bottle of water. He tried twice to unscrew the cap before getting it open. Jixia, I used to think adults shouldn't meddle in kids' affairs, but today I learned, some people aren't just kids, their hearts are dirtier than adults. I looked down and kicked a pebble on the roadside. Dad, I didn't know before either, in my past life. It took me a long time to figure that out. When I got home, my mother had already prepared dinner. She usually hates any trouble, but after hearing the whole story, she went into her room without a word and brought out an old iron box. Inside were my health check reports from childhood to now, awards, sports meet results, and a photo of my father when he was discharged from the military. She pushed the box toward me. Take these, all of them. No one else gets to decide what your health has been like. My nose stung. She touched my hair. Jixia, Mom doesn't understand the procedures, but Mom knows. If someone steals from you, you can't just say, forget it. I ate that meal very slowly. In my past life, after the health check issues came up, I never dared to tell them the full truth. I was afraid of disappointing Dad, afraid of making Mom sad, and in the end, they were still dragged into the abyss. This time, we sat at the same dinner table, laying out the evidence, the procedures, and the next steps, and for the first time, I felt like I wasn't fighting alone. At 10 p.m., Teacher Zhao sent a message. The health check center reported that the surveillance footage near the blood draw station is partially missing due to system maintenance. The school will continue discussions tomorrow. I sneered at the text. Sure enough, just like in my past life, they were trying to use system maintenance to erase the most crucial footage. My father saw my expression and asked, "What's wrong?" I handed him my phone. His face darkened. "We'll go to the health check center tomorrow." I nodded, yes, but this time, we're not going to beg them for the footage. We're going to find the copy they can't hide. The next morning, my father and I first went to the education admissions office. I didn't rush to the health check center, because the formal process has to come first. There was a long line of parents at the admissions counter, all there to consult about early batch applications and health checks. My father, wearing a clean white shirt and holding a folder, was even more nervous than me. I whispered, "Don't look so tense, you'll scare the staff." He immediately adjusted his expression, and I couldn't help but chuckle. I glanced at him, and he tried his best to relax his brow. In that moment, I felt like laughing, and my heart softened. In my past life, my father had grown increasingly silent from all the running around, but this time, he was still standing by my side, nervous, angry, and trying to learn how to help me. When it was our turn, I handed over the materials. "Hello, I'm Shinjishia, a senior student at No. 1 High School, applying for the early military academy batch." There was an abnormal mixing of health check forms at the testing site. The school has already submitted a preliminary report, but as the candidate involved, I'm applying to submit supplementary evidence and request a review of my actual health check results. The staff member at the counter, initially looking tired, perked up at the mention of military academy early batch and abnormal check, ID card, admission ticket. I handed them over. After checking the system, he asked, "The school has already reported an abnormality. What do you have to add?" I placed the timeline, photos, video screenshots, and a copy of the abnormal registration from the health check center on the counter. "This is the original numbering photo I kept. This is a screenshot from the scene. This is the abnormal registration, and this is my written statement of the incident." As the staff member flipped through the documents, his expression grew serious. "Do you have the original video?" "Yes, I can leave a copy if needed." He pulled out a receipt form for materials. "Write down your contact information. We'll verify with the health check center and the school later. College entrance exam health check records can't be based solely on the school's statement." Hearing that, a weight lifted off my heart. The procedure was in motion. As long as the admissions office officially intervened, the school could no longer brush things off with internal coordination. As soon as we stepped out of the admissions office, we saw Lin Wanqing and Lu Mei. Lin Wanqing wasn't crying today. His face was very pale, as if he hadn't slept all night. Lu Mei was pulling him along, talking to another middle-aged man, a man wearing the uniform of the medical examination center. I glanced at his name tag, Logistics Office Wang Jiqiang. I made note of that name. When Lu Mei saw me, her expression immediately changed, but Lin Wanqing reacted faster than she did. He walked over, his voice very soft. "Jixia, you're here too." I looked at him. "Aren't you here too?" He bit his lip. "I just wanted to clear up the misunderstanding. I thought about it all last night, felt we can't go on like this. We've grown up together. Even if there's a real problem, there's no need to take it to the admissions office." Before I could speak, my father cut in coldly. "So when you come to the admissions office, it's active communication, but when we come, it's making a scene." Lin Wanqing's face turned white. "Uncle, that's not what I meant." Lu Mei walked over, her tone stiff. "Shen Jiangwo, don't bully the kids. We came to clarify the procedures. Unlike some people who go straight to reporting." Just as my father was about to speak, I spoke first. "Auntie, reporting is a citizen's right. Besides, what I reported was an anomaly in the college entrance exam medical records. Not that your family eats too loudly." Several nearby parents turned to look. Lu Mei's face couldn't hold up. "This kid has such a sharp tongue, not as quick as your hands." Lin Wanqing quickly stopped Lu Mei, then turned back to me. "Jixia, can you not be like this? I know you're angry, but have you considered that, if we both applied to military academies, and this blows up, the admissions office might think we're both problematic?" I smiled. "What's my problem?" He paused. Your records are also abnormal." I stared at him. "Why are my records abnormal?" His lips moved, but he couldn't say anything. I stepped forward, my voice low but impossible for him to ignore. "Lin Wanqing, stop tying us together. One anomaly wasn't caused by both of us. Whoever reached out, explains. Whoever lied, takes responsibility." His eyes reddened again, but this time, none of the bystander parents felt immediate sympathy for him, because at the admissions office door, it's not a classroom. Here, everyone knows that an anomaly in college exam medical records isn't a childish squabble. The staff also heard the commotion and poked their heads out. Please don't argue in the lobby. Relevant matters will be verified according to procedure. Lin Wanqing immediately lowered his head. Sorry. Lu Mei pulled him aside and whispered harshly at him. I couldn't hear everything, only a few words. Useless. What's the use of crying? Uncle Wang said. I glanced at that man from the medical center logistics. He had already turned and walked toward the stairwell. My father noticed too. Who is he? Someone from the medical examination center. You suspect him? Yes, my father. Didn't ask more, just said, I'll go get the license plate. I grabbed him. Dad, don't be too obvious. He nodded and slipped out the other side, like carrying out a mission. Watching his back, I suddenly felt a deep sense of relief. In my past life, I chased the truth alone, every step blocked by others. This time, there's someone walking the path with me. After leaving the admissions office, we went straight to the medical examination center. When the front desk heard we wanted to check surveillance, her expression immediately turned formal. Surveillance footage must be retrieved by relevant departments. Individuals cannot view it. I nodded. I understand. We're not asking to see official footage. We just want to inquire about the missing records from yesterday's school application for surveillance. The front desk said, some system data wasn't saved. Which part? Near the blood draw station. Is there a maintenance log? She frowned. I'm not sure about that. Who would know? Logistics office. The logistics office was on the second floor. As we went up, the door was half open, and from inside came Lu Mei's voice. Brother Wang, didn't you say it was no problem? Now the admissions office is involved. A man lowered his voice and said, I can only handle the corridor route. Who knew she'd also record it herself? Besides, the lobby isn't under my jurisdiction. My father and I both stopped in our tracks. The look in my father's eyes instantly changed. I took out my phone and started recording. Lu Mei's voice grew more anxious. Then what about the lobby? The man said, the lobby is independently backed up by the security office. Usually no one checks it. As long as the school doesn't push for it, it'll be overwritten in a few days. My heart sank. Independently backed up by the security office. Just like I'd heard in my past life later on, Lu Mei added, can't you delete that too? The man grew impatient. Do you think I can control everyone? Besides, the admissions office is watching now. Don't act rashly. Lin Wanqing's voice came through, tinged with tears. Mom, let's go. I'm scared. Lu Mei scolded him. Now you're scared. Why didn't you hurry up at first? If you'd taken that form out of his hands, none of this would be happening now. Outside the door, my fingers clenched bit by bit. My father nearly rushed in. I held him back firmly, shaking my head at him. Rushing in now would only start a fight. And this recording is enough to completely turn things around. This is no longer a misunderstanding between students. This is a case of admissions material fraud, with parental knowledge, a physical exam center employee's cooperation, and an attempt to tamper with surveillance. The people inside were still talking. Wang Jiqiang lowered his voice. I'm telling you, don't contact me again recently. Wait for the results. If it's just an abnormal record, the school will at most give a few reprimands. Don't create more trouble, Lu Mei said. Then what about my daughter's military academy qualification? That spot of hers was iffy to begin with. You insisted on going this route, so who's to blame now? Lin Wanqing suddenly burst into tears. Mom, I don't want to investigate anymore. Can't I just forget about the military academy? Lu Mei fumed. No, if you don't go, Shen Jixia will take the spot. I can't bear that shame. I closed my eyes. So that was it. It wasn't just Lin Wanqing's jealousy. It was that mother and daughter both felt, if I get in, they've lost. I saved the recording, then quietly retreated with my father to the stairwell. My father's face was livid with anger. Call the police, I said. Let's go to the security office first. He looked at me. I said, the recording proves they wanted to delete the surveillance, but the actual form swap action still requires the lobby backup. My father took a deep breath. Okay, the security room is inside the side door on the first floor. A security guard in his 50s sat there, sipping tea. I knocked on the door. Hello, uncle. He looked up. What's the matter? I took out my ID card and a copy of the abnormal physical exam report. I'm a candidate from No. 1 high school with abnormal exam records. The admissions office has logged it for investigation. Formal retrieval might take time. I wanted to ask how long the lobby surveillance backups are usually kept. The The security guard looked at me warily. Why are you asking? I didn't beat around the bush. Someone might try to delete the surveillance footage. The guard's expression shifted. My father pulled out his own veteran's ID. Brother, my child's college exam materials have an issue. We're not trying to view the footage without authorization. We just want to ask you not to let anyone without proper procedures tamper with the backup. We'll follow whatever process is required. The guard looked at us, then at the documents in my hand, and paused for a few seconds. He said, the lobby footage is kept for 7 days, on a separate hard drive that the logistics department can't access, but if someone comes with official authorization, I can't stop them either. I immediately said, could you please make a note that we came today, and remind you that this footage involves an anomaly in the college entrance exam materials, pending formal retrieval by the admissions office or the education authorities. The security guard looked at me, with a hint of approval in his eyes. Little girl, you know quite a bit. I've learned the hard way, I said softly. He didn't ask further. He took out the duty log. I wrote down the time, name, contact information, and a brief explanation. The guard put the log away. Don't worry, without formal procedures, no one's getting that hard drive from me. I thanked him sincerely. When we stepped out of the medical center, my father suddenly stopped. Jixia, you just said, learned the hard way. My heart tightened. He looked at me with a deep gaze. These past few days, you seem like a different person. I didn't know how to explain. I couldn't tell him I've truly lived once, truly lost him. I could only say, once someone nearly pushes you off a cliff, you learn to hold on to the railing. My father was silent for a long time, then he reached out and touched my head. Then this time, Dad will help you hold on too. I lowered my head, my eyes finally growing warm. The real breakthrough came 2 days later. The admissions office called me, notifying me and my father to arrive at the medical center at 3 p.m. to assist with the verification. Also present were the school representative, the medical center director, and Lin Wanqing's family. I was in the middle of a math test when I hung up. The pen tip paused on a conic section problem, with the solution only half calculated. Su Wei looked at my expression and whispered, is there a result? I nodded. Afternoon, reviewing the footage. Her hand gripping the pen tightened. Do you need me to come? Not for now, later if the school needs supplementary statements. She nodded. Shenjixia, don't be afraid. I smiled. I'm not afraid. Really, I'm not. In my past life, what I feared most was having no evidence. In this life, the evidence is linked link by link. Photos, videos, recordings, logs, backup footage, witnesses. No matter how well Lin Wanqing cries, she can't cry away the truth. 3:00 p.m. Conference room of the Medical Examination Center. When we arrived, Lin Wanqing was already seated inside. He had visibly lost weight, dark circles under his eyes, his fingers constantly twisting the hem of his clothes. Lu Mei sat beside him, her face pale, yet she still held her head high, refusing to bow. Wang Jiqiang was also there. He wasn't in his work uniform, sitting in a corner, avoiding my gaze. The head of the Medical Examination Center, surnamed Ma, was a man in his 50s. He started with a string of official remarks, essentially saying the center took the matter seriously and would fully cooperate with the investigation. 2 people came from the admissions office. One was the female staff member surnamed Qin who had previously served me at the counter, and the other was a middle-aged man surnamed Gua, responsible for oversight. As soon as teacher Gua entered, he laid it out clearly. Today, we will verify 3 things. First, how the abnormal form ended up in the candidate's file bag. Second, the reason for the missing surveillance footage. Third, whether there was any human interference in the process of the admissions medical examination materials. When Lin Wanqing heard the third point, his face turned completely white. Lu Mei quickly said, Teacher, this is just a misunderstanding between the kids. How did it escalate to human interference? Teacher Guo glanced at her. Whether it's a misunderstanding depends on the evidence. Lu Mei fell silent. First, we reviewed the official surveillance footage from the medical examination center. The footage near the blood draw window was indeed missing a short segment. The staff explained that the system was under maintenance that day, and some cameras were offline. Teacher Gua asked, where's the maintenance notice? Director Ma's forehead was sweating. The logistics department has records. Wang Jiqiang reluctantly stood up. It was a temporary malfunction, not planned maintenance. Teacher Qin immediately asked, then why did the school receive feedback saying it was system maintenance? Wang Jiqiang was stuck. Maybe the wording was inaccurate. I sat quietly beside my father, listening. There was no need for me to speak at this point, they would expose their own flaws. Teacher Gua asked again, what time was the malfunction? From 8:45 a.m. to around 9:20 a.m., which exactly covered the period when the anomaly occurred. Wang Jiqiang wiped his sweat. Coincidence? Teacher Gua made no comment, only asked the staff to continue playing footage from other angles. The corridor footage was blurry, indeed making it hard to see hand movements near the blood draw window. Lin Wanqing's expression eased slightly. Lu Mei also straightened her back. They probably thought that as long as the key surveillance was missing, my phone video could be dismissed as a misjudgment of angle. Then Teacher Gua said, the hall's independent backup. Wang Jiqiang's head shot up. Lu Mei's expression changed instantly. Director Ma was also taken aback. The hall's independent backup. Teacher Gua looked at him. Your center security room has an independent surveillance system, used for public area safety backups, not within the logistics system. We sent a request to retrieve it this morning. When the security guard walked in, he was holding a hard drive. He saw me and gave a very slight nod. I nodded back. Lu Mei's hands had already started trembling. Lin Wanqing bit his lip hard, tears welling up in his eyes, but he dared not cry out loud. The hard drive was connected to the computer. A wide-angle shot of the lobby appeared, positioned high up but capturing the entire area in front of the blood draw window. The time was adjusted to 8:49. In the video, I stood in line holding a document folder, with Lin Wanqing beside me. The boy in black squeezed in from the side, disrupting the queue. Teacher Gua paused. Who is this boy? No one spoke. I broke the silence. A candidate from another school. He and Lin Wanqing went to the same middle school. I'm not sure if he was acting on someone's orders, but his bumping into people created the conditions for later contact with the documents. Lin Wanqing shrieked, you're lying. I haven't been in touch with him for ages. Teacher Gua looked at him. We'll verify that. The video continued. The boy in black bumped into me. Lin Wanqing steadied me. The next second, he bent down, opened my document folder with his left hand, and with his right hand pulled a folded form from his own folder and slipped it inside. The breathing in the meeting room seemed to stop. This time, it wasn't from my phone's angle. The lobby surveillance clearly captured it. The act of him inserting the form left no room for interpretation as helping to pick something up, because that form came out of his own document folder. The video continued. He tried to pull a form out of my folder, but I clamped down on it. His hands stopped and withdrew. Teacher Gua paused. He looked at Lin Wanqing. Explain yourself. Lin Wanqing's lips trembled, unable to speak for a long time. Lu Mei suddenly cried out, he's just a kid. He might have been too nervous and grabbed the wrong one. Teacher Qin said coldly, in the video, he pulled a form from his own folder and put it into Jixia's folder. That's not a mistake, Lu Mei added, but he didn't take Jixia's form either. There were no consequences. I finally spoke, because I caught it. Lu Mei looked at me, her eyes venomous. I calmly met her gaze. It's not that he didn't want to take it, it's that he didn't have time. Teacher Gua opened the next video. It was surveillance from the corridor outside the security office. In the footage, Lu Mei appeared at the logistics office door on the second floor of the medical center at 8:35 a.m., before Lin Wanqing had even sent her any help message. Lu Mei's face turned pale. Teacher Gua asked, Ms. Lu, can you explain why you were already inside the logistics office before the anomaly occurred? Lu Mei stammered, I was looking for an acquaintance to ask about the medical check process. Which acquaintance? She looked at Wang Jiqiang. Wang Jiqiang's face was ashen. We just know each other, teacher. Gua continued, did you know in advance that the medical forms of the two candidates might be tampered with? Lu Mei denied it. No. I pulled out my phone. I have a recording here. Everyone looked at me. Lin Wanqing's eyes widened instantly. I played the recording. Lu Mei's voice came through the phone. Brother Wang, didn't you say there was no problem? Now the admissions office is involved. Wang Jiqiang's voice. I could only handle the corridor route. Who knew she'd recorded herself, and besides, the lobby isn't my jurisdiction. Lu Mei asked, what about the lobby? Wang Jiqiang said, the lobby is an independent backup from the security office. Usually no one checks it. As long as the school doesn't press for it, it'll be overwritten in a few days. Lin Wanqing said tearfully, Mom, let's go. I'm scared. Lu Mei scolded him. Now you're scared. Why were you so slow when I told you to hurry up? If you had taken out his form, none of this would have happened. I pressed pause on the recording here. Lin Wanqing was completely limp in her chair. Lu Mei's face was as pale as paper. Wang Jiqiang suddenly stood up. This is a secret recording. It doesn't count. Teacher Guo gave him a cold look. Whether it counts or not, isn't for you to decide. At the very least, this recording is enough to prove you privately communicated about handling the surveillance. Director Ma's face had turned dark. Wang Jiqiang, what exactly have you done? Wang Jiqiang's lips trembled. Director, I didn't delete the footage. I just handled that one corridor. Teacher Qin cut in. He didn't manage to delete it, but he attempted it. My father sat beside me, veins bulging on the back of his hand, but he didn't act impulsively. He just said in a deep voice, Teachers, I now formally request a written confirmation regarding the tampering of my daughter's medical examination records, and for those involved to be held accountable. Teacher Guo nodded. That will be done. Lin Wanqing suddenly burst into tears and rushed over. My father immediately stepped in front of me. Lin Wanqing knelt on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. I was wrong. I'm really wrong. I didn't mean to harm you. I was just too scared. I might not pass the medical exam. My mom kept pushing me. I really had no choice. I looked down at him. He finally admitted it, but this admission wasn't born of a guilty conscience. It came because the evidence had pressed him until he could no longer pretend. He wept. Your grades are so good. Even if you don't go to military school, you can still get into a top university. But I'm different. This is my only path. Jixia, for the sake of our years of friendship, can't you forgive me just this once? Those words were like a rusty knife slowly cutting open the wound from my past life. In that life, I too had begged the school to investigate again, begged the medical center to check the surveillance, begged Lin Wanqing to tell the truth. No one listened to me. Back then, he stood in the sunlight wearing the uniform he'd stolen and said, Jixia, don't get stuck on this. Now, he knelt on the ground saying, this is my only path. I crouched down and looked into his eyes. Wanqing, he looked at me as if grasping at hope. I said, in that life, no, before, I really did see you as a friend. He nodded tearfully. I know. I saw you as a friend too. No. I shook my head. You just saw my trust as the easiest thing to exploit. The expression on his face slowly crumbled. I stood up and took a step back. I don't forgive you. He froze. I looked at him, my voice low but clear enough for everyone to hear. It's not that you had no choice. You just thought my life could be given to you. Lin Wanqing collapsed onto the floor, and his cries finally turned shrill. Lu Mei also broke down. Shenjixia, how can you be so cruel at such a young age? Wanqing has already admitted his mistake. What more do you want? I looked at her. I want results. What results? He was involved in tampering with the medical records. Revoke his relevant qualifications. You tried to interfere with the surveillance. Hand this over to the relevant departments for investigation. Wang Jiqiang cooperated in handling the footage. The medical center must provide a written explanation. The school must issue a public clarification. I never slandered, never envied, never framed anyone. With every word I spoke, Lin Wanqing's face grew paler. Lu Mei shook her head. No, no. That would ruin him. I looked at him. Auntie, before you acted, weren't you planning the same for me? Lu Mei could no longer utter a word. The investigation results were not released that day, but word had already made its way back to the school. At first, people were still defending Lin Wanqing in the class group chat. Chen Jia posted, I heard they're checking the surveillance footage again. Really no need, pushing someone like this before the college entrance exam. Another boy replied, if there's evidence, investigate. If not, let it go. Don't make everyone all nervous. I didn't say anything, and Su Wei didn't either. Half an hour later, the group suddenly went silent, because teacher Zhao posted a notice regarding the recent online rumors about abnormal medical examination materials. Please refrain from unverified discussions. The school has coordinated with the admissions department to complete an initial verification. Follow-up actions will be handled according to procedure. Any defamation, attacks, or leading comments directed at the student involved will be recorded and addressed by the school. No one spammed beneath that message, but when I walked into the classroom the next day, everyone looked at me differently, not with the kind of gaze reserved for a troublemaker, but with a cautious curiosity. Lin Wanqing wasn't in class. His seat was empty. After morning reading, the school suddenly called an assembly for the senior year on disciplinary procedures for college admissions. It was held in the auditorium, and all senior students were required to attend. I knew the real public reversal was coming. The auditorium was packed. The principal, grade director, academic affairs staff, and all homeroom teachers were on stage. Lin Wanqing was there too. He sat at the edge of the front row, his face deathly pale. Lu Mei sat beside him. Clearly she had been summoned. I sat in the middle of the class formation. My father and mother were in the parents section. My mother had taken the day off work to come. When she saw me look back, she nodded at me. And my heart steadied. The grade director spoke first. Dear students, with the college entrance exam approaching, the school didn't want to take up your time in such a serious manner. However, the recent incident of abnormal medical examination materials, involving the discipline of the admissions process and the rights of candidates, must be clarified to the entire grade. The auditorium fell silent. Lin Wanqing lowered his head. The grade director continued, after a joint investigation by the admissions department, the medical examination center, and the school, it has been confirmed that during the on-site medical checkup for college admissions, candidate Lin Wanqing actively approached and swapped the medical exam documents of fellow candidate Shen Jixia. The anomaly was detected and recorded on-site, and did not materially affect Shen Jixia's final medical results. Additionally, Lin Wanqing's parents privately contacted staff at the medical examination center in an attempt to interfere with the retrieval of surveillance footage. This matter has been referred for further handling. The entire auditorium erupted. They really swapped the forms. Oh my god, Lin Wanqing, so Shen Jixia was being unfairly accused before, and I thought she was just being oversensitive. Every comment was like a delayed slap from a past life, landing on the faces of those who had been watching the drama. I didn't look back. I only looked at the stage. The grade director added, in the earlier stage of handling this matter, the school also failed to recognize the severity of the incident and attempted to resolve things internally. On behalf of the school, I extend an apology to Shen Jixia and her parents. I heard my mother take a soft breath. My father sat upright, but his eyes reddened. Teacher Zhao stood up with the microphone. As the homeroom teacher, I also want to apologize to Shen Jixia. During the early stages of the incident, I overemphasized maintaining stability before the exam, and did not adequately protect the students' rights in time. I'm sorry. Everyone looked at me. I didn't stand up, and I didn't say, it's okay. I just sat there, quietly accepting the apology that should have been mine long ago. An apology is not a favor, it's something they owed me. Next, the school announced its decision. Lin Wanqing's military academy application qualification was suspended, pending final confirmation from the admissions department. The medical results he was involved in would be re-evaluated. Students who spread false information in the class group chat were required to delete the content and provide a written explanation. Lu Mei, who led false discussions in the parent group chat, the school would issue a clarification to the parent committee and relevant parent groups. None of these measures were a light. Let it go. Lin Wanqing sat in the front row, his body swaying as if about to collapse. Suddenly, he stood up. I disagree. The auditorium fell silent. Lu Mei tried to pull him back but failed. Lin Wanqing turned to look at me, his eyes frighteningly red. Shen Jixia, are you satisfied now? Everyone looked at me. I slowly stood up. Teacher Zhao tried to stop me, but the principal raised a hand to hold him back. I took the microphone passed to me. I'm not satisfied. Lin Wanqing froze. I looked at him, because even now, you're still asking, am I satisfied? Not, was I wrong? His lips trembled. I already apologized. You apologized because the surveillance caught you, not because you truly believe you shouldn't have traded my life for your opportunity. No one spoke in the auditorium. Lin Wanqing cried out, I just wanted a chance. You already have so much. Good grades, good health, your dad supports you. What about me? My mom puts all her hopes on me. I can't afford to lose. I tightened my grip on the microphone. So, that means you can make me lose. He froze. I laid it out step by step. Lin Wanqing, my good grades. I earned them myself. My physical qualifications, I got them through years of standard training, protecting my eyesight, and sticking to medical checkups. My parents support me, because I communicate openly with them, not because I stole it from someone else. If you want a chance, you can work hard, repeat a year, change direction, take another path. But you can't reach for my watch, can't forge my signature, can't have your mom find someone to tamper with the surveillance, can't say, I had no choice. After everything came to light, Lin Wanqing covered his face, crying so hard he could barely stand. I didn't stop. You didn't lose to me, you lost to your own greed. As my voice faded, the entire auditorium was silent for a few seconds. Then someone softly clapped. Soon, applause slowly rose. Not loud, but but clear. I didn't feel a thrill that made me want to scream. I just felt the weight that had been pressing on my chest for so long finally lift. Lin Wanqing was pulled back to his seat by Lu Mei, his head bowed, never lifting it again. After the briefing ended, many classmates wanted to come over and talk to me. Some wanted to apologize, some wanted to explain, some just wanted to confirm I was okay. I didn't give them a chance to surround me. I left the auditorium directly with my parents. In the hallway, Chen Jia caught up. Shenjixia, I'm sorry. This was her second apology. This time, her voice was sincere. I deleted those messages in the group chat, and wrote an explanation. Before, when Wanqing said bad things about Su Wei, I believed them too. I won't do that again. I looked at her for a moment. The person you should apologize to isn't just me. She paused, then looked at Su Wei, who was leaning against the wall nearby, holding some documents. Chen Jia's eyes reddened. I know, I didn't say more. Some cognitive reversals need to be completed by themselves. When I reached the stairwell, Lin Wanqing suddenly chased after me. He had completely abandoned any pretense of dignity, gripping the handrail and shouting, Shenjixia, I stopped. He took a step down, his eyes bloodshot. If I can't produce a military school re-examination pass certificate, are you determined to watch me get disqualified? I frowned. He pulled a piece of paper from his backpack. I have the re-examination certificate. Lu Mei, behind him, turned pale. Wanqing. But Lin Wanqing clung to it like his last lifeline, holding the certificate aloft. You all say I have health issues. But I don't. This is a re-examination certificate from the hospital. I passed. I don't need your results. He slapped the certificate in front of me, a red stamp on the paper. Physical examination meets admission standards. The classmates who hadn't dispersed yet gathered around again. Lin Wanqing cried out, Shenjixia, are you still going to say I stole your past results? I passed too. Could it be? You're overreacting. He had saved this move for the end. As long as he could prove he was qualified, he could argue there was no need to steal your results. At most, grabbing the wrong one in panic, or even counterbite me for exaggerating on purpose. I picked up the paper and looked at the hospital name on it. It wasn't the designated hospital of the admissions office, and the stamp looked a bit odd. Suddenly, I understood. Lin Wanqing's final counterattack had arrived. I looked at him. So this is your trump card. He gritted his teeth. It's a fact. I nodded. Fine. He froze. I turned to Teacher Zhao and said, Teacher, since Lin Wanqing has provided a new re-examination certificate, I suggest submitting it to the admissions office for verification immediately and arranging for both parties to undergo another re-examination at the designated hospital. Lin Wanqing's face changed. I placed the certificate back in his hand and said softly, the real thing has nothing to fear. The designated re-examination was arranged quickly. Since the matter had been flagged as a priority check by the admissions office, any new material had to be verified the same day. Less than 2 hours after Lin Wanqing's re-examination certificate was taken, the admissions office gave feedback. The certificate is from a non-designated medical institution. It cannot be used as a basis for meeting military school admission physical standards. More critically, the doctor's signature on that institution's records doesn't match the system's data. In other words, the certificate itself was questionable. Lu Mei went weak in the knees on the spot, but Lin Wanqing still stubbornly argued, it could be a hospital procedural issue. That doesn't prove I faked it. Teacher Guo didn't argue with him, so we've arranged the designated hospital re-examination. The re-examination site was at the Municipal People's Hospital's Physical Exam Center. This time, the entire process was accompanied by admissions office staff and school teachers on site. The results were sealed and uploaded immediately. Shenjixia and Lin Wanqing went through the procedures separately: identity verification, on-site photo, number binding, doctor signatures. Every step was as strict as closing doors one after another. Lin Wanqing stood ahead of me, trembling all over. He wasn't crying anymore, nor pretending to be wronged, because in this kind of process, tears were useless. Lu Mei was told to wait outside. She kept making phone calls, searching for someone, but each call made her expression more grim. After completing my vision, hearing, and internal and surgical exams, I sat on a chair in the hallway waiting. My father handed me a cup of warm water. Nervous, a little, he said. That's normal, not fear. It's taking it seriously. I nodded. After a while, my mother also hurried over. She was still in her nurse's uniform, clearly having taken leave from the community hospital. How did it go? all done with the exams, she sat down on my other side and took my hand. "Why are your hands so cold?" I forced a smile. "The air conditioning is cold." My mother didn't call me out on it, she simply wrapped my hand in hers. After the health issues were discovered in my previous life, my mother ran to the hospital again and again to dig up my old medical records. Later, her blood pressure spiked and she collapsed at the door. Back then, I was too busy falling apart to even notice she could no longer hold on. In this life, I won't let them pay the price for my silence again. Half an hour later, the doctor called us in the office. Teacher Gua and Teacher Qin from the admissions office, along with Teacher Zhao and Teacher Zhou from the school, were all present. Lin Wanqing and Lu Mei were also called in. As soon as Lu Mei entered, she asked, "Are the results out? Is my daughter qualified?" The doctor glanced at her. "Have a seat first." Lu Mei refused. "Just tell me the results." The doctor placed 2 composite forms on the table. Shenjixia, composite items meet the relevant standards for military academy enrollment physical exams. My father let out a long breath. My mother gripped my hand tightly, her eyes reddening. I looked at that verification form. My name, ID number, and the conclusion were clear on it. In my previous life, I dreamed of seeing those words, but back then, they were stolen from me. Now, they had finally returned to my hands. The doctor opened another form. Lin Wanqing, some items require further specialist evaluation. Current results do not meet the relevant admission requirements for this batch. Lin Wanqing seemed not to understand. What do you mean, do not meet? The doctor's tone remained professional. Your relevant indicators fall outside the standard range, and past checkup records include items that require supplementary clarification. Based on the current review results, eligibility cannot be confirmed. Lu Mei shrieked, "Impossible. My daughter was checked before and they said she was fine." Teacher Gua asked, "Where was she checked?" Lu Mei's voice caught. The doctor produced that non-designated certificate. "We have verified this certificate with the issuing institution." They responded that the certificate number does not exist in the official medical examination system. Lin Wanqing abruptly turned to Lu Mei. Panic flickered across Lu Mei's face. "I had someone help get it. They said it would work." As soon as the words left her mouth, she realized what she had admitted. Teacher Gua immediately took notes. "Ms. Lu, please explain clearly the process of having someone get you a certificate." Lu Mei's face turned deathly pale. "I didn't mean it like that. I just wanted to check on my child's health in advance." Teacher Qin said coldly, "Checking on your child's health in advance does not require producing a fake eligibility certificate." Lin Wanqing slumped in his chair as if the life had been drained out of him. He slowly turned his head to look at his mother. "So, you knew all along that I might not pass?" Lu Mei's gaze flickered. "I did this for your own good." "For my own good?" Lin Wanqing's voice trembled. "So, you made me swap Jixia's form?" Lu Mei rushed over to cover his mouth. "Don't talk nonsense." But everyone in the office had already heard. Lin Wanqing completely broke down. He shoved Lu Mei away and cried out, "You said it. You said Shenjixia's health would definitely pass. His father is a veteran, familiar with the process. As long as I got his form, you had the rest figured out. You said even if he lost the military academy, he could still take the college exam. You said our family couldn't keep losing to him." Lu Mei raised her hand to hit him, but his father grabbed her. "This is no place for you to act wild." Lu Mei was so frightened by him that she took 2 steps back. Lin Wanqing's face was distorted from crying. He looked at me. "Jixia, I really didn't want it to come to this from the start. My mother kept pushing me. She said you had everything, said if I didn't fight, I'd be overshadowed by you forever. I just, he couldn't go on." I looked at him, feeling no satisfaction, only a bone-deep clarity. "So that's what ruined me in my past life. It wasn't just one person's jealousy, but a family's twisted expectations." Lu Mei treated her daughter as a tool to climb up, and Lin Wanqing used me as a stepping stone. They all thought they had reasons, but why should I pay for their excuses? Teacher Guo closed his notebook. Based on the current situation, Lin Wanqing is suspected of deliberately swapping the medical examination materials for the college entrance examination. Lu Mei is suspected of assisting and instigating the act and attempting to influence surveillance and documentation through improper channels. These findings will be submitted in a written report to the education authorities and relevant enrollment units. Wang Jiqiang, the medical center staff member, will be dealt with separately. Lin Wanqing looked up, his voice hollow. "What about my military academy?" Teacher Guo looked at him. "You are no longer eligible for the relevant enrollment this time." When he heard those words, The light in Lin Wanqing's eyes completely went out. Lu Mei tried to stir up trouble. Why, he's just a child. What about his college entrance exam? You're ruining him. I couldn't help but laugh. Lu Mei glared at me, her eyes like knives. What are you laughing at? I said, Auntie. So now you know. The person being ruined does hurt, after all. Her face turned white, then red. The doctor handed me my review form. Shenjixia, keep your phone line open for updates. The admissions office will update your medical status. I took it with both hands. The paper was light, but it felt like it was pulling me, little by little, out of the mud of my past life. When I left the hospital, Lin Wanqing chased after me, without Lu Mei by his side. He looked disheveled and gaunt. Jixia. I stopped. He stood on the steps, his voice hoarse beyond words. I know it's too late for anything I say now, but, if I get recorded in the integrity file, my whole life will be ruined. Could you just say I was forced by my mom? My father's face darkened. My mother tightened her grip on my hand. I didn't let them speak. I walked up to Lin Wanqing. That familiar hope appeared in his eyes again. He thought that as long as he seemed pitiful enough, I would always soften. In my past life, I had softened too many times. When he forgot his homework, I covered for him. When he failed exams, I cried with him. When his family fought, I answered his calls late at night. When he said he envied me for having supportive parents, I compiled all my study materials, fitness plans, and military academy policies for him. What he exploited was never my carelessness, it was my kindness. I looked at him. Lin Wanqing, your mom forcing you, that's between you and her. You reaching for my watch, that's between you and me. His face turned ashen. I said, I won't lie for you, but we're friends. Not anymore. Tears fell from his eyes. I didn't hand him a tissue, didn't comfort him, didn't say, don't cry. I just stepped back, putting distance between us. From the moment you put your hand into my file bag, it stopped being that. This time, I turned and left. He called my name, crying behind me, but I didn't look back. The wind at the hospital entrance was hot, the June sun blindingly white. I held the review form and suddenly felt my palm burning, not from anger. It was my life finally regaining its warmth. The final result came out a week later. That morning, a crowd gathered in front of the school bulletin board. When I arrived, the crowd parted to make way for me. It was a strange scene. In my past life, there was also a crowd around the bulletin board. It had posted the list of those who passed the military academy physical exam, with Lin Wanqing's name on it and mine missing. He was surrounded by people, laughing and receiving congratulations, while I stood outside the crowd clutching my appeal materials, like an out-of-place joke. This time, the bulletin board displayed a notice of the situation. The wording was formal. After investigation, candidate Lin Wanqing was found to have deliberately swapped the medical examination materials of another candidate during the college entrance exam recruitment physical exam, seriously violating recruitment physical exam discipline. His relevant application qualifications are revoked. His integrity status will be recorded and reported as per regulations. Candidate Shenjixia's abnormal medical examination materials have been clarified. Her personal review results meet relevant standards. No impact on normal application. The school apologizes to Shenjixia and her parents for the improper initial handling and will strengthen the management process of exam materials. Below was the medical center's handling explanation. Wang Jiqiang was suspended pending investigation. Related monitoring management loopholes were to be rectified, and Lu Mei, suspected of using false documents to interfere with the recruitment physical exam process, was referred for further action. I stood in front of the bulletin board and read through it line by line. My name wasn't covered up, and my innocence wasn't blurred into a vague misunderstanding. Su Wei stood beside me. Finally posted. I nodded. Yeah. She looked at the notice and said softly, if only someone had investigated like this back then. I turned to look at her. Her eyes were a bit red, but she smiled. But it's not too late now. Teacher Zhao found me, said he's willing to bring out the materials from the competition registration back then, at least to give me a written explanation. That's great. You made me feel that I can still fight for it one more time. I shook my head. It was Lin Wanqing who made me realize, if you don't fight, they'll take it as your consent. Su Wei smiled. True. Suddenly, a commotion stirred at the back of the crowd. Lin Wanqing had arrived. He was wearing his school uniform, his hair disheveled, his face so haggard he was almost unrecognizable. No one surrounded him, no one comforted him. Step by step, he walked to the bulletin board, staring at the notice. his fingers trembling violently. Chen Jia stood nearby, wanting to approach but ultimately stopping herself. After reading it, Lin Wanqing suddenly turned his head to look at me. Shenjixia, his voice was very soft. I didn't flinch. He walked up to me, his eyes red. Now everyone knows. Are you satisfied? It was the same line again. I looked at him. Even now, you still think this is about me wanting everyone to know? He gritted his teeth. Isn't it? You could have handled it privately. Handling it privately means I sign a letter of understanding, help you keep your qualification, and then pretend nothing happened. His lips trembled. I've already paid the price. That's the price you deserve to pay. Tears fell from his eyes again. But this time, no one around spoke up for him, because everyone had seen the notice, seen deliberate swapping, seen false documentation, seen interference with surveillance. No amount of tears could cover up the black and white words. Lin Wanqing suddenly broke down and shouted, I was just jealous of you, okay? The area in front of the bulletin board fell completely silent. He cried, I was jealous that you have a father who supports you, jealous that you get good grades, jealous that the teacher praises you every time, jealous that when you said you wanted to apply for military academy, you could actually go. I've been by your side since we were kids, everyone said. Wanqing, you should learn from Jixia. Why after all my hard work, I still can't compare to you? I looked at him, feeling very calm inside. So, you chose to steal. His face turned pale. I didn't steal. I just wanted to win once. A win stolen isn't a win. He shook his head as if he couldn't accept that answer. You don't understand. You have no idea about the pressure my mom puts on me. I don't need to understand, I said. Your pressure is not my responsibility. I said this very slowly. Lin Wanqing, the biggest mistake of your life is always thinking that your pain can be a reason to hurt others. He stood there, tears falling one by one. I didn't look at him again. I turned and walked away from the bulletin board. This time, the crowd looked at me, no longer with suspicion. Someone whispered, Shenjixia, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you before. Me too. Keep it up. You'll definitely get into the military academy. I didn't respond to each one, not out of arrogance, but because I no longer needed their attitudes to prove myself. Back in the classroom, I cleared out everything related to Lin Wanqing, the birthday cards he gave me, the photo booth pictures we took together, the sticky notes he wrote me, and that notebook of wrong answers he once borrowed and returned. I didn't tear them up or burn them. I just put them in a paper bag and handed it to Teacher Zhao. Teacher, please pass this on to Lin Wanqing. From now on, nothing of his should appear near me. Teacher Zhao took it and sighed. Shenjixia, you did well. I looked at him. Teacher, I hope that in the future, if any student encounters something similar, they won't have to go through what I did to be believed. Teacher Zhao paused, then nodded solemnly. I'll remember that. In the days that followed, I finally returned to the rhythm I had before the college entrance exam, doing practice problems, running, organizing political review materials, and sorting through application information. Lin Wanqing never came back to class. I heard that Lu Mei went to the school to cause trouble several times, and then to the medical examination center, but in the end, she was taken away by the police for a statement. After Wang Jiqiang was suspended, the medical examination center was also found to have numerous procedural issues. The boy in black admitted that Lin Wanqing had asked him in advance to create a bit of chaos, but he said he didn't know she was going to switch the watch. The school reported the situation to his school. Everyone began to pay the price for their part, and my life didn't stop because of their collapse. On the day of the college entrance exam, my father took me to the test site. He stood outside the cordon and straightened my collar. Don't be nervous. I smiled. Don't you be nervous either. My mother handed me a bottle of water. Go in, finish writing and check. Don't worry about others. I nodded. Before walking into the exam hall, I looked back. The sunlight fell on my father's temples, and I suddenly remembered him lying on the hospital bed in my past life. That ache pricked me again, lightly, but I quickly suppressed it. This time, he was standing here, healthy, and I was standing here too. That was enough. After the college entrance exam ended, the status of my physical examination for the military early admission batch was officially updated. My name appeared on the qualified list. Shenjixia, number A1736, physical exam passed, political review cleared, file submitted. On the day of admission confirmation, I sat in front of the computer with my parents. The page refreshed 3 times before the result finally appeared. Admitted. My mother covered her mouth, tears streaming down instantly. My father stared at the screen for a long time, then suddenly stood up and walked to the balcony. I knew he was crying, and he didn't want me to see. I didn't call him out on it, but I saved a screenshot of the admission page, naming the file Shinjisha's life back on track. A few days later, I received a message from an unfamiliar number. Jisha, I'm going to repeat the year. My mom was also punished. I know you won't forgive me, but I still want to say I'm sorry. It was Lin Wanqing. I looked at the message and didn't reply. After a while, he sent another. If that hadn't happened, would we still be friends? I stared at that sentence for a long time, then blocked the number. There are no ifs. Some doors close not because the hatred hasn't faded, but because I've finally learned not to keep those who hurt me inside the door. The day before school started, I packed my luggage. My father placed his old army canteen into my suitcase. This has been with me for many years. Now it's yours. My mother stuffed a pack of medicine in. Common remedies. Don't think it's too much. I looked at the overly full suitcase and laughed at their exaggeration. But my mother suddenly hugged me. When you get there, make sure to eat well and sleep well, and don't bear things alone. I hugged her back. I know. My father stood by and cleared his throat, and, keep your documents safe. I laughed out loud. I know. I've already photographed the serial numbers. The three of us laughed, and as we laughed, our eyes reddened. The day I left home, the sky was very blue. I dragged my suitcase into the station, my phone holding my admission notice, medical exam serial number, all backup evidence, and a family photo. Those pieces of evidence I won't scroll through every day anymore, but I won't delete them either. They weren't meant to trap me in hatred, but to remind me, boundaries are not coldness, evidence is not scheming, refusal is not malice, and protecting myself is not letting anyone down. The station announcement sounded, and I pulled my suitcase forward. Behind me were my parents' words of advice. Ahead of me was the path I had chosen. In this life, I have not let anyone decide my fate for me, nor have I let anyone steal my name. My name is Shinjisha, serial number A1736, medical exam passed, admission successful. From this moment on, my life is clearly written back into my own hands. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.